this where the damn drumming and the music kicks in?
Yeah.
What is going on, everybody? Hello and welcome to On the Pipe Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Tyler Shepherdson, and today is Tuesday, May the 6th, 2025, years after zero. We're just in time for the weekend review. It used to be OTP Tuesday, and to be honest with you, I'm not sure which one to call it, but either way, you're here, we're here. We appreciate you being here. Thanks for joining us on this wonderful Tuesday, directly after round number 6 of the GNCC series. Powerline Park going down in Ohio. It was another mud race. It was another mud fest. And I'm going to be joined in just a couple minutes here by Big Rig Craig. And maybe Big Tom might be stopping by. But we're going to talk about the racing action. And we might even have a very special guest here in just a little bit. So stay tuned for that. Thank you for being here. If you're watching us on YouTube, thanks for listening. If you're listening to us after the fact somewhere else, wherever you get your podcast. But yeah, welcome to the program. As you guys know, we are presented by Yamaha USA. That is right, the Blue Crew. Really revs my heart. You know what else revs my heart? Some off-road racing and some On the Pipe podcasts, and we're here to blend the two and let you know all about it. We're going to go through some results. We're going to talk about some storylines and just general discussions, you know. If you have any questions, as always, drop them in the YouTube chat. We'll be more than happy to get to them for anything that you may saw from the race weekend that we don't cover. Throw it in the comments, and we'll get it going. First, we're joined by good friend of the program, been joining us here regularly on Tuesdays, Big Rig Craig, how'd you do on the Open E class to start this past weekend?
Super well. Didn't go at all.
Move your mic up a little bit.
That's my bad. Absolutely did not go.
There we go.
So, rode North Carolina local. So, did not make it. The start was not ready, and it was underwater at Powerline Park, as most of you might know. So, I did not go.
There's no air filter. Doesn't it have submarine mode or something?
Yeah, zero maintenance. I think the bike would have been fine if it was working at the time. So, no Stark racing this weekend. Hopefully get it going next couple rounds. Try to go to maybe Pennsylvania, something. I don't want to go to Hoosier at all. So, we'll get it together for one weekend and try to go run a little bit Open E.
I will say, the Hoosier, very nice track, very nice facilities. Turns into a good racetrack, turns into a good race. My least favorite race of the season. I do not want to go, but
it's far.
Yeah.
Now I know how all the Northerners feel when we're down here in South Carolina and Georgia and Florida. I don't want to go all the way up there.
Yeah. Yeah, and that is the farthest one. It's like 11 hours, a little over 11 hours, especially when you factor in some charging stops along the way. But like MotoFro, driving down from Massachusetts or Connecticut or wherever he comes from, like all the way down to South Carolina for a local, that's dedication.
Yeah, he's about it.
So I guess we can't complain too much.
Yeah.
And also, guess I can't really talk too much junk about you because I myself missed my first GNCC in a few seasons, dude. It's been a little bit. Had some people reach out. Really appreciate that. Just dealing with some issues, I guess is the best way I could put it. Nothing like serious, but running from back surgery is the best I can. I'm 32 years old. I don't want to go down the road of back surgeries. But yeah, a couple compressed discs, couple pinched nerves. Makes for some sleepless nights. Just everything going on. Just didn't have it in me to get up there. And also got another little weird thing that I'm dealing with. But you know what? We're here. We're here for the show. Didn't make it to the race. Shout out Eric Geese like the bird. I was on the fence. Like, man, can I do this? Can I get my bike on my car, my Yamaha? Can I sit in the car for 15, 16 hours to get up there, get back? Can I ride around in the mud, relying on it? And I just the end of the day, I couldn't do it. So sorry about that. This is the first time we missed a video in quite some time. Actually, since Hoosier last year when I had the flu and I think carbon monoxide poisoning and just took photos because I didn't even know who I was that day. But, yeah, sorry we didn't get the video to you. We'll be there. We'll be the reliable source here going forward. So my apologies about that. But we made it here for the show. But anyway, yeah, Eric Geese. He was the OTP media guy this weekend, getting the shots, getting the clips, sending them to me, getting them posted. So shout out Eric. That was super cool of him to do.
Shout out Goose.
Good guy. Great guy even because he rides a Yamaha. Blue Crew.
I was supposed to be riding with him right now. Here I am.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Buddies.
Bailed.
Where? In Valdez.
That's a pretty far drive from him, isn't it? I guess not.
Yeah, it's kind of far.
Oh.
Yeah, Josh was going up there and called me, and I said I'd go. Then Eric said he'd go, and then I did not go. It worked out great for me.
Dude, you're 0 for 2 in the past week.
Dude, I know. I got time management skills. I would have been there earlier if I wanted to be. So.
Yeah. Well, guess that's a good way to put it. So anyway, let's get into some race results from the weekend, round 6 of the GNCC series, and just so happened to be quite the shakeup as we head into the back half of the season. This is effectively pretty much almost the halfway point as we head down the stretch and keep heading north for the rest of the GNCC series. Obviously, good buddies with Stu Baylor. Obviously, do Stu Baylor's media stuff. And obviously, the one race that I'm not there, Stu Baylor goes out there and gets a win. And had me chomping at the bit at home. I was like, dude, of course. The one time I'm not there, he gets a whole shot, goes on to win the race. What'd you think of the dub by Stu out there?
Pumped for Stu. I mean, man, those freaking mud races, dude. I think everyone's sick of them. I know everybody, especially him, owns a team trying to get the rig cleaned up and get the bikes prepped and shit breaking. I'm sure that's so annoying, but it pays off when you go all the way up to Ohio and get a win, so pump for him.
The great equalizer. And so we're going to get into it here in a little bit, but switch over to that the points tab real quick, because last week on this very program, we actually even did we talked about it. We talked about the championship. We talked about it, and effectively it was like, Stu is he still in? I can't zoom in. Maybe you can try to zoom in. But after this past weekend, we say everyone's tired of the mud. Mud is the great equalizer. See if we can get the overall points. And we talked about the deficit that Stu was in, and I talked to him a little bit on the phone afterwards, and we were sitting there looking at it. And now, after this race, sorry, I'm trying to control 2 computers at once, and it's not going great, as you can see. I can't do it.
Let me zoom in.
Yeah, try. Maybe we can. But now, Stu is within 30 points. That is one race. So 93 points to Ben Kelly's 123 points. Obviously, Grant Davis still in the mix. This was, I think, the first time this year that XC1 was the overall podium, if I'm not mistaken. But that points gap can tighten up that quick. We talk about all the time. The gap between first and third place is 9 points. And then the farther you go back from that, the more points you gain. So Ben Kelly with an 11th place overall this past weekend. Stu Baylor with a 1st overall. Grant Davis with a 6th overall. Stu now gets it within 30 points. That means if Stu was to win Indiana, and this is not going to happen, but for whatever reason, if Ben and Grant both DNF'd, Stu is tied for the points lead.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy to think how quickly it can change and how valuable winning is. Stu has three throwaway races this year. Obviously, nothing at Big Buck. 15th at round 2 and 12th in Old Gray after leading. So it's like, that's when I talked to him on the phone. He was talking about like going back, like wishing you could have some moment back from those races and you'd be right there in the mix. But still, it's just, that was the first thing that stood out to me this past weekend, is looking at those points and seeing how quickly it can all change, especially with an XC2 guy in the hunt for the points lead and maybe an overall championship. Gus Reardon going out and getting a win this past weekend, gets 3rd place overall. That puts him solid in the number 3 spot in the points. But, yeah, just interesting to see how quickly that all can change. and how far from over this season is. So we head back to the overall results. Stu Baylor takes the win and the XC1 win, his second win of the season, second repeat winner on the season, but it didn't come easy. Jordan Ashburn was pushing the pace. Jordan Ashburn was right there. Stu got caught on Racer TV, belly flopping, sliding across the mud. Did you have a chance to watch back any of the program?
No, I didn't see any of the race on Sunday.
So I was watching it live, and it was such a weird thing because I try to go back and listen to them after the fact, but like this was the first time in a while where like that's how I'm watching the race unfold.
Yeah.
So I was watching the Racer TV feed, but yeah, right when they cut to a camera, Stu just goes sliding out of frame on his stomach, like off into the woods, and that's where Jordan Ashburn was able to capitalize on him, get the lead a good part of it, and then Jordan Ashburn actually got buried in a mud pit later on, and that's allowed Stu to get back by.
Yeah.
But then the two continued to battle, and Jordan Ashburn made a push there at the end to get the lead, but Stu was able to hold him off and get the win.
Yeah. Actually, me and Dad were on the way home from North Carolina, and I did have it. So I watched Jordan and him go back and forth, and Jordan almost get him maybe a mile from the finish. And then I think Jordan slid out, or he was down. Went into the woods, wheel to wheel, came out 10 seconds behind him. So did watch a little bit of it.
Yeah. But it was crazy because Jordan is a very technical rider.
Yeah.
And him, just like Strang, just like a lot of these guys that we're going to talk about, Jordan Ashburn's one of the older guys in the class. But it's like these guys refuse to get old. It seems like Jordan Ashburn is at a point in his career where he's only getting faster every single year.
Yeah.
Won a championship and now contending for wins and battling up front. It was a great battle and a great ride by both of those guys to go 1-2 on the day.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember it's funny you're just talking about these people, these riders are staying young, per se. I remember going to John Penton in 2010, and you could buy riders' jerseys. And I got a Jesse Robinson jersey, and I was with Jesse at Battle of the Goats last weekend. And I remember there being a Buttrick jersey, a Ashburn jersey, and that's when he just got an XC1 or XC2. Because I remember it was my favorite MSR gear, and I wanted it so bad, but someone bought it out in front of me. I was pissed. But half the XC1, their jerseys were in that bundle in 2010.
Yeah.
Like there was a Duval jersey, there was a Strang jersey, so it is kind of wild that the same guys, like we talk about so much, are still in it.
It really seems like there hasn't been like a max exodus or mass retirement from the pro class. Like you said, it seems like this pro class has been the same. It wasn't until just these past couple years that we got new people in the XC1 class, but we've yet in this crop of XC1 pro riders, we've yet to see that transition to the new group yet. You know what I mean? Like they've all been here for a while and they're all still here.
Yeah. They talk about that whenever talking about Tomac getting into 250 Pro class.
Yeah.
So 2010, 11. And there's a lot I don't really realize it, but there's a lot of motocross guys that are the same way. Like, I know it's like a sport people try to get in, make their money, get out of. But for a lot of people, they stay in because that's all they know. But, yeah, it's the same way for moto and woods. It's kind of interesting to see how long guys can stay into it.
Yeah. And just want to point out that I was completely wrong a moment ago when I talked about there being XC1 on the top 3 spots. What kind of 2025 race would that be if XC1 swept the overall podium? Just doesn't seem to happen this year. Gus Reardon, I know that it was close between those two for that final podium position, but that is right. Angus Reardon goes out there, gets the XC2 win, and third place overall on the day. So still an XC1 guy or an XC2 guy on that overall podium. This time it is Gus Reardon out of Denver, North Carolina, by way of Australia. Finishing in the number 3 spot, Liam Draper makes a return to the XC1 podium. Last year, we couldn't see Liam Draper off of the XC1 podium. This year, a lot of back and forth for Liam as he works to get back to where he left last season off at. And a good run by him to get there in that number 4 spot. Aboard, what else? A Yamaha. Top finishing Blue Crew rider of the day for Liam Draper. Cody Barnes riding his heart out. I think he was in the mix for the overall lead there at a couple times throughout the race, would round out your top 5 fastest riders overall and be the number 2 guy in the XC2 class. Grant Davis, 6th place overall, rounding out the XC2 podium. I think he's pretty firm with the points lead there in the XC2 class. We can double-check that here in a minute. But Grant Davis, no doubt, continuing on the great season that he had last year and doing it once again this year. Josh Strang was a guy, we saw him making some passes. We saw him slicing and dicing early on in the race, worked his way up there, ends up 4th place, XC1, 7th place overall in the muddy conditions. He was a guy we were just talking about a moment ago, still got it. I think he just turned 37, 38. Not 38, 37. I want to say he just turned 37.
I don't know. He hasn't invited me to any birthday parties. I'm not really sure.
I haven't been to one in a couple years. What's the deal?
Why does he treat us like this?
I can't talk about the last one I was at. But, yeah, that's a good point. But, yeah, Josh Strang, I believe 37 years old, 7th place overall for the 007 of Josh Strang in his 19th year on the front row in America for the Australian, who has now split his lifetime equally between Australia and the United States. He likes the mud. He likes the Ohio mud. I don't know what it is.
Master Beta.
A muddy Penton, Josh is always in the mix. He's always going to be a pick if it's a muddy Penton. This one a little farther north in Ohio, but still muddy race goes out there. 4th XC1, 7th place overall. Craig DeLong makes the number 8 spot overall, top 5 in XC2. Brody Johnson finally putting together a top 10 ride of his own in the XC2 class, and I lost count. Oh, that's got to be 4th overall. Yeah. Or 4th XC2, 9th overall. And then Josh Toth rounds out the top 10 and the top 5 of the XC2 class. Ben Kelly, who's got the white plate, goes for 11th place overall. Read briefly his description. Didn't make excuses. Didn't beat around the bush. Just said, didn't happen today. So I don't know if anything catastrophic happened. But he ends up 11th place. Grant Baylor 12th. Nick DeFeo 13th. Chase Landers, top amateur on the day. Big bummer for Gavin Simon, who was running 6th place overall damn near the entire race.
Really?
Yeah, running 6th place overall lap after lap, like staying consistent in the number 6 spot. I didn't hear what ended up happening to him, but no doubt a giant bummer for Gavin Simon because he was ripping, dude.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the first race that JoJo hasn't got top am.
I do believe that is incorrect.
Really?
I think Chase got one, didn't he?
Did he win 258 at Old Gray?
So
I can cruise over to XC2.
No, he definitely didn't win it. He definitely didn't win at Old Gray, but I think Lane Whitmer won a top am. Yeah. Let me see here.
Cruise over to 250A.
Was that it?
Okay,
so JoJo 5th.
Talladega.
At Dega.
Yeah, it's my bad.
Oh, yeah, so Chase Landers. Yeah. I'm pretty sure he was top am that day.
Yeah, he was. Well, he won 250A, so I would say so. That's kind of seems to be the 250A seems to always get top am.
Yeah. But, yeah. There you have it. And then back to our top AMs. Chase Landers, first top AM. JoJo Cunningham, second 250A, 15th overall, second top amateur on the day. And then old swole Cole Whitmer battling the Ohio mud, getting it done, third top amateur on the day. And the winner out of the Open A class.
I believe both Whitmers are hurt right now, too. Well, they're battling some injuries right now. I think Lane put in his race results that he had
broke a toe,
broke the ankle or something. And Cole's nursing some ribs, I believe, or something. They both posted something about it.
Yeah. Yeah, so T's and P's. Wait, what'd you say Cole was dealing with?
I think Cole posted that he had some ribs, or he's happy with how he's riding because he had maybe a broken hand.
Checking in with the YouTube comments here. Big Tom says he's on the way. My dogs downstairs are going absolutely nuts, so that can only mean that Tom is about to walk in the door right now. Here he is.
Yeah.
Trying to ice us.
I've been nursing a broken hand these last 2 races, so I'm happy to still be here in the mix.
Walks in with a Smirnoff box full of what I can only imagine is Busch Lights.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what you're doing, but
Cody Barnes seemed to be consistent this year, says Tyler Brown. That is absolutely right. Cody Barnes has been ripping here lately, and we're going to talk about some news coming out of Cody Barnes here in just a moment. Didn't Chase win at Talladega? Tyler Brown, yes, he absolutely did. Wish you would have told us that a little bit sooner because we all looked like some jackaloons when we couldn't figure it out. Anthony Tosh.0 says, hello, brothers. Love this hoodie. Big Tom on the bush. The bush.
Tell me how Big Tom's going to show up a Smirnoff Sixer with bush lights in it late and not give anybody any. What's up with that, dude?
You really want to go there?
Yeah, I brought personality. You brought the beer. What's up?
Come on, man.
Where you been, bud?
Hey.
Just one.
Did you hook me up with a beer at Sports Page?
No, I didn't buy you a beer at Sports Page.
See? I had closed my tab, and I was like, Craig.
Dude comes up.
I was like, Craig.
I'm ordering my dinner.
You still got a tab open.
He'll buy my beer. And I said, how
No.
about
That's
me a
not
beer.
what I
You didn't
said.
say will you. You
No,
said
that's not what I
put
said.
a beer on Craig's. I said, you didn't ask. No. If all he had to say was, Craig, will you buy me a beer? Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Come on,
Call
man.
Katie Joe right now.
Who?
Katie Joe, she was the waitress.
No, here's the deal. I thought we were leaving. Everybody closed their tab out. And instead of opening up a tab, I was like, hey, Craig still got a tab open? He'll hook me up with a beer. What was that? Well, I was wrong.
You didn't
No.
ask.
You know what happens when you assume.
Why does he treat
Yeah,
me like that?
makes
My
an
birthday's
ass
this
out of all
weekend.
of us.
You ain't going to come out with me Saturday. Hook me up with one beer.
Who said that? I can't hear shit.
You
by the
got a wedding to go to.
way. So does Bailey.
Okay, well, she don't need to give me a beer. She got me sun drops.
Yeah, but she said yeah.
Go ahead.
Shit. She's coming to the birthday shenanigans.
I don't know how. No, she's not.
Oh, you told me she was.
I lied.
See?
Anyway, dirt bikes.
Speaking of not being invited to birthdays,
Yeah.
I put it in the group chat, and you're in it. And you told me about Cleveland County. Derby.
Yeah.
oh,
You
liar.
were there.
oh yeah,
Go ahead, bud.
all right.
Everybody, we
Yeah.
appreciate
Speaking of
it.
birthdays, which one can't we talk about? That's what I want to know. Was it the one at my house or the one in Charlotte?
The one in Charlotte.
Oh, that was a good one.
The one in
That
Charlotte.
was a good one. It's
Uh,
good to be back.
I found the random videos of that one. That was a
Oh.
that was a good stranger danger birthday party.
That was a good one.
That's one for the HBO special though.
I'm pretty sure that's the first time I ever met the Australians. I showed up to Riddles, and I picked up Lyndon and you, and we went to I had my Cali 450 in the back of the truck.
Whose bus was it? Was it your bus?
No, yeah, but that was Tom's birthday. But I show up to
Strange's
Riddles.
birthday. We were on a bus.
Wasn't mine.
No idea whose bus that was.
No, it was
It was
Curtis's
Curtis's
van.
van, yes.
That's what-
Dude, I
okay.
show up to
Yes.
Riddles, and Lindo was dead, laying
was
on
a
a
good
thing of
night.
mulch. He sees,
No,
fucking
that was
real
Josh.
riders. No, but Josh didn't touch my. Okay,
Josh
so Josh
was the
foot
one
on the
passed
stairs,
out.
was
Yeah.
on the damn mulch,
And we're spilling a lot.
and Lyndon sees
This
my
was-
bike.
This
and
was 2020. It don't
This was
count.
as soon as Lyndon got on Cowie's here. He'd been here a week. He sees my bike, starts it, and just middle of the night. And then I take him to apartment party, and these dudes were making fun of his voice. And Lindo is a big guy. These guys were like making fun of him. These little twig kids. And
I
they're
can see that though.
And they're like, he's like, hey mate, don't fucking talk to me like that. And these kids were like, hey,
man,
this is
I can't even
this
do
is
it.
America. This is America. You're talking stupid. And he like stood up with his
He got
bird ass
pissed.
legs and about whooped their ass.
Dude, he does got
Hey.
some tree trunk legs. I will
Hey, and
say.
then the next day he got deported.
He did go home. He walked from 16 and 73.
Yeah.
Tried to walk all the way to Josh's.
Yeah, I think we've told
which
that
is
story
like
on here
6
before.
miles.
So actually, I don't know if I ever said it on here if I'm supposed to, but I actually had to write a letter to the Australian embassy to get Lyndon temporary citizen status or visa status to be over here to race. So, hey, we're all doing our part. You know what I mean? He got deported that day. We got him back. Letter of recommendation straight to the Australian government.
The best part was he took off walking and was like, "I'll just call somebody to
His
come
phone
get me."
didn't work.
Yeah, because he turned it off.
He made sure his phone turned off the day he left, so he wakes up at 6 in the morning. We're all asleep in bed, hammered drunk, and he couldn't figure out where he's going, so he just started walking, started trying to make phone calls, and phone wouldn't work.
The best part of this whole thing was that was like the first time I'd ever hung out with Strang and Cam, and I mean I met them through Riddler, and when we left that night, I don't remember if it was Dylan or Cam, but they were like, "Hey, take care of Lyndon. He has to make it to the airport in the morning. His flight was at like, I don't know, 9, 10 o'clock." Well, I get up the next morning and I walk out of the room I was in, when we went to bed, Lyndon was passed out on the couch. Well, when I woke up at 7, Lyndon was nowhere to be found. I was too scared to call Cam. I called Riddle, and I was like, hey, man, we lost Lyndon. And he was like, what do you mean? I was like, when we went to bed, he was on the couch. I'm up now. He is nowhere in his apartment.
Not on the couch.
So we sent out a damn search team. Me and Craig, Riddle, Josh and Cam. And we found him like 6 miles down the road.
He was walking in front of the Save-A-Lot, like
He
up
was
there
almost-
by Palmer Motorsports.
He was almost to Todd's.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Good
Dude, it
times.
is hot as balls up here.
Yeah, I know. I turned it down. I got a fan in a box right here we're going to put in here.
Fuck.
But
Box
nevertheless,
fan, they call it. It's a box fan. They call it.
no, it's a ceiling fan, just in a box. Box fan's too loud.
That was funny.
But yeah, real quick, Jonathan Green, when are we getting those large, long OTP shirts? This
Ling
was,
Longs.
this was the race that I was supposed to go make them, and I didn't make it to the race. So we're trying to figure it out. But larges and extra larges coming here soon. Real quick, let's just get to through the results, and then we'll powwow about what's going on in the off-road world. Jonathan Johnson bought his 125 at the last race, showed up, raced it, won it. He comes back, put out a poll.
12 minutes. Holy shit.
Should I race the 250? Should I race the 125? Obviously, chose the 125 and wins by, as Craig said, 12 minutes
Golly.
over one of the twins, Huck Jenkins. Also, I actually got a legit email that the Jenkins brothers are brothers, but they're not twins. But in my head,
We're calling them the twins.
they're still the twins. I don't have the old one. Shit. So, Jonathan Johnson takes the win, 12 minutes over Huck Jenkins, and Isaiah Brown rounds out the top 3 riders
Shout out
as
Christian Evans.
we get there. And then we will go... Uh-oh. Almost deleted the whole stream right there for a second. We'll go back to our women's pro class where we saw Rachel Archer grab a whole shot and never look back. Wins by almost 3 minutes over Shelby Turner. Shelby Turner, the Canadian, obviously good in tough conditions. She is a hard enduro girl. She is an enduro girl, and she's a solid competitor at the GNCC series. She ends up in the number 2 spot. Just under 3 minutes down from Rachel Archer, who regains the points lead. This was the first race all season that we saw her with the blue backgrounds instead of the white backgrounds. Taylor Jones ends up on the podium once again, proving consistency is key. Taylor Jones right in the mix once again. Danielle McDonald ends up in the number 4 spot, and Ava Silvestri rounds out the top 5. So Ava, a staple out there on the West Coast, comes and races some East Coast rounds with us every now and then. She comes out, gets a top 5. Corey Steed, who had the points lead, ends up getting 7th place. But keep in mind, the WXC girls do have a couple of drops as they continue throughout the season. And now, I did get a text message. Craig, if you can open FaceTime, we have a special guest.
I'll be honest, brother. I don't know how to do that.
Here, turn that towards me just a little bit. Found out we can control both computers from one computer. Let's see what we got. Oh, so we're on the right thing there. We'll go here.
Call Mom.
All right. I think you can turn it back to you now. Well, maybe. He should pop up on here. Oh, can you make that full screen? Hit the little button. All right, so now we said there might be a special guest, and now joining us on the program live from a birthday party, let's welcome this past weekend's overall winner, Stu Baylor Jr. What's up, Stu?
Oh, just got out of the pool. Still soaking wet. Had actually Caleb Wood's birthday party, so been throwing kids.
How old is he now?
as far as-
13?
Yeah, it's close to it. No, it's his 16th birthday, so I still don't think he's actually passed his driver's ed. The only thing he knows how to do is ride dirt bikes and dozers. So,
And win.
Yeah, and win. Well, not this weekend. He sucked this weekend, which kind of frustrates me because this weekend was honestly one of those weekends where he should have been set up absolutely perfect to win. We had that Loretta's qualifier last week. On Monday, instead of taking the day off after racing all weekend, I made all the guys, which is untypical. Like normally we do take Mondays off. I had all the guys take Monday, and we flooded the track with a water truck with the ruts and the race lines still there. And we did a full day of motos and section work. And I credit a lot of my success on the weekend from that day. To me, the reason that we did that was when I was flagging for the weekend, I was looking at the lines and I was like, man, my guys suck at riding C rider lines. Like, no offense to C riders. C riders actually make up the vast majority of racing. That C riders, slower riders. Like, I'm not I'm not being arrogant when I say that. Like legitimately, they don't necessarily make the best lines. And that is the core of the sport. The core of the sport is the working man, the guy that works Monday through Friday and gets to ride on Sundays. And the training facilities, which have flooded the sport, and obviously we are one, they have made it to where a lot of these kids get really used to riding like literally pro rider lines from an early age. And when they see a line with a hook in it, an odd acceleration point, they really struggle in that. So Caleb should have been a little bit quicker this weekend because we got to train exactly what the race can look for.
Well, what ended up happening, because he's coming off of a win, if I'm not mistaken, and they were battling back and forth in the four-stroke A class, and I think he ended up 5th place on the day, if I'm not mistaken. So, what was what happened out there? Did you get the race recap from all the riders? And could you turn your phone sideways?
Yep. Sorry.
No worries. There you are.
Like we're shooting for YouTube. Got it. I'm still struggling with that. Like when I'm out here filming and everything's supposed to be sideways, I'm not used to that. So Caleb this weekend did end up 5th. I think he started back like 18th, 20th place. So he did have a rebound. It wasn't a perfect race for him. I think he struggled. He said he was trying to save the bike. I think that he's got enough speed in my mind that he could stop and pressure wash radiators out every race or every lap of the race and still win. Like the kid's got a lot of speed, but sometimes fast doesn't win GNCCs. Like speed doesn't always win races. So realistically, just an off day for him. But as a whole, the team had some success. I mean, Olin Daniels, who had to miss the last race due to being sick, he was back. He rode well. He was second in that same four-stroke A lights class. He stopped every single lap to get his radiators blown out. So he spent a lot of times in the pits and still ended up second on the day. So phenomenal ride by him. Caleb just, he wasn't there.
Even more impressive about OD going out there and doing that is that he did that on a full gallon of whole milk in his stomach, I can only assume. Because that's what Triple OD does.
Yeah. So OD is the guy that got the "Got Milk" tattoo on the inside of his arm.
Yeah.
So Olin is the one that lives off of milk, drinks a gallon a day, and prides himself for it. But yeah, Olin was one of those kids that came from the same area as Ben and Josh, that New England area. Phenomenal rider, and I think this weekend was a good track for him. But he's really struggled, I think, bringing his speed from New England into the GNCCs, and it takes 3 years. Like I've always told people, like you come to GNCCs anymore, at least, since basically the night era, you come to GNCCs expected to take 3 years. It really does take time because all of us have grown up riding these tracks. I mean, Powerline Park, I've been riding since 2004, 2003. So I know where the spots will be bad. I know what to expect. And it's a big change for a lot of people.
Yeah. And speaking of a big change, I do just want to get your opinion on one thing, and then I want to get into your big win, obviously, the news coming out of the weekend. But before we get off of Caleb Wood, obviously, Caleb Wood, not only a rider on your team for the past several years, not only a member and I guess theoretically in some way or another part owner of the Shoals at some point, but training with you guys at the Shoals, being with you full time, but he's also your little cousin, and he's also coming off of 2 back-to-back overall youth championships. What has his transition been like coming into big bikes this year? Obviously, not as big of a fella as you and Grant, but like you said, today's the Sweet 16, and transitioning over from the mini bikes to finding his place and clicking off a couple wins in the 4-stroke A class. How's that transition been for him from his perspective and from your perspective?
I think from his perspective, he's struggling with a little bit. Just watching him this weekend, when I asked the question, like where he was, where he felt he should be, and why he didn't ride what I expected him to ride, I could tell he was frustrated by the way he rolled his eyes, turned his head, and walked away. Which is good. Like that's what honestly, that's what I want. Like I want guys to be disappointed when they're in 5th place. So I know, like, from his point, like, he's been a top guy, a top contender, and now he's in a harder class. So it's difficult. You make that next jump, and for me, it didn't catch me until XC2, and I think him is catching him here in the A class. And Nick DeFeo on the same point, like, he didn't catch up with him until he made it to the XC2 class. But you get to that one class where it's like, shit, like, I'm not winning easy anymore. This is hard. What do I got to do? I think he's at that point of, what do I got to do? Because nobody travels 20 hours a weekend, pedals the track 4 times over, sacrifices how they eat, sleep, and live to go and get 5th place. At least when you're doing it at that high of a level. Like, again, the core of the sport is guys that aren't doing that. But for guys like Caleb, his last 10 years, over half of his life has been dedicated to this, and he wants to win. So now it's a matter of, how do I do it consistently? What is it going to take week in and week out? And every rider gets that point where they have to make that transition, where they have to figure out that mindset, what their realistic expectations are, short-term, long-term goals. And I think he's probably trying to sort that. From my standpoint, being a trainer, being a racer, being family, I told his mom this week I wanted to ship him off. Anywhere. Anywhere.
2 to 3 years, drop them off, forget about them.
You can ship your pants with Kmart.
If it was up to me, I'd send him to Morgantown, West Virginia, or Morganton, North Carolina. Those are like 2 places that maybe
you want to do meth?
Maybe he.
Damn.
Well, I was thinking.
Sounds like you don't want Caleb to have teeth.
Maybe he would find a bunch of good-looking girls and decide that he wanted to go really fast.
Not in Morganton. You fucking won't, dude. No way.
Do you think he would survive Morganton with the Motown boys?
I survived Morganton. Listen, I married a girl from Vail.
Oh,
West Lincoln, by God.
West Lincoln. Sorry, West Lincoln. She went to West Lincoln and lived on Reedsville Road up there. So you guys are very familiar with that.
Oh yeah,
she's a tater digger.
So, where players play.
Yeah, that's where I
call her a tater digger and see what she says.
Dude, what do you have a hatchet?
I don't know. This thing's sick. Look at this.
Fuck off, dude.
Dude, they get off the rails over here.
He's definitely went to West Lincoln. For sure.
Who?
I'm from Ohio, brother. This guy went to East,
Obviously, the guy from North Carolina, not the guy from Ohio.
I live here now.
You meant to school. No, I went to East Lincoln, man.
East Lincoln. Oh, great. So I know the feud. I've got a wife from West Lincoln. So East Lincoln likes to call themselves classy, I think.
No, that's North Lincoln.
That's north.
Gotcha. You guys still show up to high school on tractors then?
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
West Lincoln. Okay, got it.
East Lincoln, all the teachers are fucking kids.
No, honestly, I was trying to send him to like Sandbox or somewhere outside of the shoals. Not that we're not fully equipped to train him. It's just it's family. It's too easy for his mom to bring him lunch, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's too easy for him to have a scapegoat, and it's crazy. But like, it's almost like I would call it college for kids. Like, half the reason to go to college isn't necessarily to learn anything; it's to get off the tit. Like, and I'm sorry, but that's exactly where Caleb Wood is. He's got to get off the tit. Like, and it happens in racing at a very early age, because you think about racing if you're 18 and not an XC2, your chances are getting short. By 20, your chances are getting very short, slim. You look, there's a few guys, there's a couple that, like Josh Toth and Ben Kelly, who showed success in the XC2 class and still made it to XC1, that were a little bit later on the scene. But you've got to think that everything has a time frame. So at 16 years old, your clock is counting down. By 20, if you're not an XC2 and competitive in XC2, ready to make the jump to XC1, your window is getting shorter and shorter. By 22, if you're not an XC1, that window is really creeping on you to where, okay, yeah, you might be one of those guys that makes $35,000 a year and a couple bonuses to ride XC2, and it's a really cool story to tell your buddies. But let's be honest, that $35,000 a year, you're living paycheck to paycheck, and you can't even afford a trainer, but you got to have a trainer to be able to compete. Like, you're in a really tough position. I mean, this is the way that my mind thinks because I've been there. I've lived it.
At $35,000 a year, you can't afford a place to live.
I spent $35,000 a year at gas stations, brother. There ain't no way in hell.
Dude, I spend $35,000 a year on Celsius energy drinks because I don't sleep.
Red Bulls and QT pizzas, brother.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to that point, though, like, what about, like, Craig DeLong is the first one that comes to mind. Like, he was a guy that was in XC2 for a while, came up, now XC1 champ. But then you look at guys like Cody Barnes, who is getting closer to that mid-20s age, is still in the XC2 class. And I think he's a guy that wants to be in the XC1 class. But, like, outside of that, there's not very many outliers, to your point, of that transition.
Yeah, I mean, there definitely is a few. I'm not saying that everybody's the same. I'm not saying that it can't be done, but I'm looking at it as a realist, and realistically, retirement age, aside from a select few, is 30. Like I would say your average age is 30 years old. Like, that's when I'm 30 this year, and I'm telling you guys, like, next year's probably my last year racing. Most likely, unless some crazy-ass contract comes about.
Clickbait, brother.
Clip
Thank
that.
you.
Clip that.
Hey, Stu, I got a question / challenge / idea for you. When's your 30th birthday?
It already happened.
Already happened, dude.
I'm turning 31 in June.
Oh, shit.
Oh, I thought you just turned 30 this year.
Nah, June of last year, right after Snowshoe last year.
So,
Stu,
Vet rider.
did you happen to do 30 for 30 for your 30th birthday? Beers, that is.
I started that at like 14 years old, man. That's weak.
Yeah,
fucking grow up, brother.
Can you still do it in a night at 30?
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. No shot.
That's what I'm saying. 30 beers for 30 years.
It's not a thing anymore. Like, I used to be able to go bow fishing, stay up till the sun came up, and still work a full day, ride, get everything in, and I might need a cat nap, but like I could maintain that for weeks. And now it's like, dude, give me 2 or 3 days, and I'm beat. Like 2 or 3 days of 1 a.m. or later, and still trying to wake up on time. Like, I'm done. I'm absolutely done. I'm not what I used to be.
I don't want to brag, but the other night I drank 2 beers in the same day for the first time in like a year and a half. So,
See,
and I was felt like shit the next day just from that.
see, my birthday's Sunday, so Saturday we're gonna go race the full gas, and afterwards we're thinking about getting the limo out and go to the Cleveland County Fairgrounds for the little demolition derby.
Do you,
In the
do you
limo?
call that short thing
Yeah.
a limo?
Huh?
You call that little thing a limo?
Dude,
That's what Bailey calls
you cut the head off roadkill and put it on in front of yours. I got a Lincoln, brother.
Do
Grow
you
up.
really need do you need a real size limo to show up?
Well, hold on. Here's the deal. I turned 28 on Sunday. Saturday after the full gas, probably in between first and second moto, we're gonna start drinking. What are you doing Saturday? I know you're not racing this weekend.
Here you go. You take your limo. Stu, you take your limo, and y'all show up to the Cleveland County Fair and enter them some bitches in the demolition derby.
No, hell no. I paid $3,500 for that thing. I can't scratch it.
And well, you win at the demolition derby.
Damn, Stu's is
I ain't got
twice
the
the
money.
length and costs half as much.
Yeah.
And it's a Cadillac.
Man,
And it's
fuck
Cadillac.
a Cadillac.
And it's got shocks that work.
Mine work. They just need a little bit of air. Dude, we take 12 people in there, and this thing sit there and rides on the drive shaft. You have 9 in there, 9 normal-sized people, not 9 Toms, not 9 Craigs, 9 normal-sized people, and it's fine.
How you gonna exclude me and you from your limo like that?
I'm just saying we can't have 9 of us. We can't have 9 of us. That's a whole lot of fucking weight.
Not with that attitude. Stu, real quick, back to the 30. we got to rein everybody in. Stu's got some celebrating and swimming to do. He's at a quinceañera right now.
I don't know if you guys hear the knocking on the door. This is definitely my 3-year-old coming for something.
Nope.
Hey, where my shirt?
Are you naked, buddy?
Levi, you got your pecker out?
You don't know where your shirt is?
Yeah.
Hell
Did
yeah.
a girl take it
Yeah, you
off?
can,
Did a girl
dude.
take it off of you?
No.
No.
Yay.
Maybe next time.
Were you down there swimming with all them girls?
No.
Oh, you weren't?
That sounds guilty.
Ah,
He
okay.
sounds guilty.
You didn't take all them girls down to that pool?
No.
Ah, okay.
Is that
Whatever.
dog poop on the ground?
Listen, my kid is fully feral. Fully feral.
The boys were down
Hey, buddy, go in the house and ask mommy. Daddy's busy, okay? Thank you. Anyways, back to what we were saying. So Tyler tried to round us in. What were we saying?
Talking about the 30, turning 30, all that kind of stuff. Now in the news of 30, and got to the point where now with this win, obviously Ben Kelly not having his best day, 11th overall, Grant Davis 6th overall. You taking the win, you're now within 30 points of the overall lead as far as points are concerned. And I mean, the way the season's been going, anything can happen on any day, but 30 points is just one race out of the overall lead. So what does this past win mean to you? And with 3 throwaways already on the year, what's the mindset from here? Because we're not even technically to the halfway point now.
I honestly, it's crazy that there's even still a shot. You know, like you and I talked about it the other day or after the race. It's crazy to think because I've never seen a season like this. Like there's been times where I'd lost 30, 40 points the first 2 rounds and crawled all season back to just get within striking distance. And that's like literally podium every week with a guy that was also podium every week. I just happened to edge him out every week. This year's crazy. Like, I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. Like, how the hell can we be 6 rounds in? I've had a DNF at Big Buck. I had bike issues at Florida. I think ultimately scoring 4 points. I had bike issues at Tennessee, ultimately scoring 7 points. Like, it's kind of insane when you think about the fact that I'm even still in this at all. And yeah, there is a realistic possibility. But moving forward, my mindset is simply to win races. Championship is not something on my mind. Like, I kind of, after last race, like, realistically, I turned. Nick DeFeo has currently walked in front of the vehicle and pulled his pants to his ankles and bent over in front of me.
It's going to cough.
That's a sight that I just can't unsee. And there comes Collier. So back to the racing. Sorry, this is like I mean this is like a reality show. This isn't even a podcast at this point. So when I think of the craziness that's happened this year, like it is wild to even think that guys like myself and other championship contenders could be as far down the list as we are. And the fact that XC2 is still there. The consistency's just been all over the map this year, and I mean, with my season this far, if I could just have one of those bad days back, I mean, you put my 15th in Florida to a podium, or you take the DNF there at Big Buck. Like before my bike was shutting off at Big Buck, I was right behind Feo and Ashburn, who obviously Ashburn ended up breaking down. The points that I could have gained there, and we're right back in the points lead, or the 12th place there at Tennessee, where I had I think a 24-second lead when the last board I got, before I had a little tangle with the lapper, ended up with a 12th on the day. Like and I'm not saying that I would have won there, but chances are like that is a race that I was riding very well. I felt like I kind of had control of that event with 2 laps remaining. It should have been 30 points on the board, which would have left BK with 25, and I'd be 2 points down. That stuff is playing through my mind for sure. Well, the mindset moving forward is fuck the championship. We're here to win.
Hell yeah.
If I don't win, it is what it is, but we'll go for a championship next year if it doesn't happen, but I'm here to win. I'm not saving my bike anymore. I'm not worried about it. If we blow up, like, it's win or die. Like, I don't even care. Like, we're here to win. I like winning races. That was the mindset that I had this weekend, so now I just have to carry that forward.
Hey, and something you said about like the XC2 guys still being there, and they brought it up on the broadcast, and I hadn't even thought about it. But there hasn't been an overall podium this year without an XC2 guy on it. Just insane.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy. Like the last time I think there was this much XC2 on the podium was 2012. It's been a while. Like, and that year I think we had 8 of 12 rounds had XC2 guys on it. But this year we're damn near to 8 rounds. Like, there's a good chance that we don't go around without seeing an XC2 rider on the podium. It's yeah, I mean, it's definitely playing into favor. And I think the guys have learned if they sprint on lap 1, that they can get to the tail end of XC1 and just kind of pick us off one at a time.
Stu, what's your thoughts on how everybody, I think, and we've talked about this a little bit, on how everybody's saying the XC2 and XC1 should be one class? I mean, I know a lot of the guys have been in XC2 for a while. But, I mean, does that bother you? Like, does it, like, and I haven't heard from many other riders, like Toth, he doesn't really seem to care. Just some other guys I've talked to. Does it really bother you, the XC2 guys catching up? I mean, it doesn't affect your race, I'm assuming, correct?
It does to an extent. Let's say, trying to think of the round that it really, John Penton last year, I was in a battle for a podium position, and I had a battle for the XC2 lead on my ass. As a rider who came to the XC2 class, I hated when XC1 guys would not get out of my way. In that position, it's like, what do you do? Like, I'm battling for points for a championship, battling for a podium, and XC2's on my ass. Like, at that point, yeah, it's a problem. It's become a problem. When I came through XC2, there was regulations, and XC2 was not ever intended to be a career class. And the argument became from the manufacturers and the riders that there was not enough jobs in XC1, not enough money in XC1, and I understand it. Like, I understand that side of it.
Was that Levi dropping shit?
Yes. He just told his mommy that he shit. And she is trying.
I didn't think you could hear him.
Yes, we can.
Oh, hell yeah, we heard him.
What's up, Jade?
Why don't you change that boy?
That's
He
that's
has
a
a-
tater digger back there.
He has a foul mouth and a mother from Lincolnton.
Who do you get that from?
Hey, man, he's got such bad parents letting him flip people off on the podium, too. I don't know if you've been on
I
Facebook
know.
lately.
We're terrible people. Terrible people. So no, actually, the kid. No, the problem is at 3 years old, he knows how to use cuss words in proper context, which is terrible. Like we.
I remember
try
high
not to,
schoolers
but,
not being
like,
able to do that.
yeah, legit. Like, I try not to let him. Like, we fuss at him. Like, legit. I mean, she's trying to be quiet back there, but we spank him for that. And yes, we're the spanking type of parents. Like, I'm sorry, but we ain't raising pussies.
Have you tried a belt?
And oh, absolutely.
My mom liked to use
Absolutely.
closed hand, a fist.
My kid will laugh at a belt. He has the same pain tolerance that I have, which is absolutely retarded high, and it's not a good thing. Like, at some point, you turn 30 and arthritis catches up. It's cool when you're young. Like, I used to do dumb shit to cause myself pain intentionally to show off, and now I'm like, but I never had a pain tolerance. Like, my pain tolerance was through the roof. And now it's all caught up. Arthritis is legit. Like, it's hard to get out of bed in the morning. And the common cold can really put you down. And I see the memes on Facebook, but it's legit. Like, it does hit men different than it hits women. It almost kills you every time. I get it.
Dude.
Ivermectin, whatever you got to do. Like,
I get
but-
sick once a year and it is over. Dude, the
Yeah.
one time a year, I'm such a bitch. Oh, it sucks. Even my back now. Like, I'm not, I've hit the ground a lot, and it's because of lack of skill. And, dude, I'll get up in the morning, and it's like just slow rising. My back raising up. I can stretch out a little bit, start my day.
Yeah.
No good.
Sciatic pain. I've got, like, I'm due for back surgery. I've got slipped and bulging disc. I actually that was what Tyler and I were talking about, as I had slipped and bulging discs that created a bunch of sciatic issues a couple years ago, and I thought I was gonna have to quit racing, and then somehow, like, we straightened things out. Obviously, the help of Dr. Tanner and him kind of consulting for me and put me in the right direction. But yeah,
Shout
age does suck. But my kid, like, I see these memes about, like, gentle parenting, and then I also see the controversy ones where it's like, you can be a gentle parent to gentle kids, but if your kid's a motherfucker, you got to be a motherfucker. Well, guess what? Like, guess what? Mine took after me. Like, and let's just say he's not a gentle kid.
You got to fight fire with
He's
fire.
he's the other one. He's the other one.
Hopefully the new one's just as bad. It's going to be great.
Gosh, I hope not. No, listen,
And that's a girl, so
we're-
you're going to have a soft spot, too. You don't care about the boy. I know how it goes.
Oh,
Tough love,
I've
and then
got
that's
it.
your little girl.
I've got a big soft spot, and not only like I didn't really think about retirement. I mean, I've talked about it. Like, don't get me wrong, I've talked about it, but retirement was not a thing that I really thought about with a boy. And like life insurance, like, I've got life insurance. I've got whole life insurance. I've had it for quite a time, but like, now I'm like going and getting blood work and all this shit for a term life insurance, because, like, you look at your little girl and it's like, all right, everything's changed. Like, it's different. I don't know, it's different, but yeah. So we're also moving to Alaska, because looking at her eyes, like, she's going to be beautiful. No men are going to be around. If she's a lesbian, that's okay. But, like, nope, sorry, like, we're not going to the races. Like,
No, you are going to the races.
if she finds any boy that's as big of a piece of shit as I was at that, at that 15 to 18-year-old age, like, nope, sorry, I'm out. Like, not happening. So
Keep her away from Morganton.
Dude, yeah, don't go to
yeah,
Morganton.
she's not going to Morganton.
That's what
We'll
we
never
were
go to
talking
Morganton.
about. All these racers, they've been in it for so long. Fatty's been racing GNCCs for years. Well, now he's got a son who is obviously super fast for being how young he is. Strang has Mav and his son. I'm sure both of them are going to keep racing. You have Levi, and you guys have no, like, right whenever you can finally get to hang out on the weekends, maybe. Go hunting whenever you want, go do whatever, spend the Sunday at the house. Nope, we're going racing. Because your kids are going to be a shithead on 65s, cussing out his competition, fist fighting, throwing a bike, saying fuck you to Ricky Towery. Don't do that. Nice guy. But just in general, you guys are going to be at the races every weekend now, and it's like, man, you thought it was going to be over, and then you're like, dang, not over.
You thought y'all were brutal as XC1 competitors. Wait till your mini dads together.
Dude,
I can't. I'm really gonna have to become a hard ass before I become a 50 dad, because we just did that Loretta Lynn's qualifier there at the track last week, and after dealing with some of the 50 dads, like, they are the most ignorant people I've ever met or encountered in my life. Like, I get you're new to the scene. As a 50 parent, I get that you're probably new to the scene, but don't show your arrogance at that early of an age, or it never leaves your kid. Like, I can't express this enough. Like, the parents are probably one of the biggest downfalls of the riders, and it is rough. Like, I think Caleb and Thad are probably in the same point where I am, where they're not going to push their kid to be better, do better, as far as on a dirt bike. Like, if their kid wants it, they'll push them. But if not, like, I don't care if my kid rides dirt bikes or not. But
Thad might not. But have you seen them pictures of Maggie yelling at that kid?
You should see the 50 mom that I have. She's a psychopath. She was so I work till dark or after dark most days. So I put some football stadium lights in the backyard of the new house and build a little turn track for Levi. And Jade will come out there with a stopwatch and the baby strapped on her chest, and Levi will crash, and I'll go walking down to pick him up, and she's screaming at the top of the hill, "We ain't going racing if you can't pick that damn bike up, boy."
That's how it always was whenever I started racing, was the parents who had never raced, or dude, 90% of the time, the parents that were getting mad were the parents that couldn't outrun their kids. Like, the 50 dads who lived through their kids. They're like, you can't outrun him, you can't scrub, you can't do this. Well, why are we even racing then? And they couldn't do it.
Dude, one of the biggest examples, and Stu, you know who I'm talking about, but there was a rider, very talented, very good rider. His dad was one of the worst mini parents I've ever seen in my life, and that kid is no longer in off-road racing, and I think he had a future. But it's crazy how...
I think he's racing arena cross.
Yeah, we're on the same page.
I know who you're talking about.
But it's insane how some of these parents act, man.
That dude got offended because I didn't know who his son was when I was driving the semi.
Makes sense.
He walked up to me at Indiana, and he was nice to me, but he was like, "Yeah, Cole's doing this, that, and the other," and I was like, "Who?
Yeah, who?
Who?" Well, I mean, I didn't watch minis, so I didn't care.
Would be incognito, Craig.
I don't care.
So I swept.
Nice guy.
I swept the North Carolina this past weekend, and the mini race was a pretty wet and slick technical track. But I was bringing up the rear, and there was a kid on I think it was a 65, might have been a small little 85, but he was stuck on a hill. He had flooded his bike out, couldn't crank, and his dad comes running around had a radio and all kinds of stuff. And he gets to his kid, and he's like, "What the hell are you doing here? You've been here for 30 minutes," and cussing at the dude. And I wanted to just grab the dude and be like, "Look, man, your kid's been over here trying to crank this piece of shit for 30 minutes, and you're going to come up here talking to him?" I rode off and just let it be, but I wanted to intervene, but I didn't.
I've been involved in a few fights in my life.
I seen one at Snowshoe.
I saw.
You got cold box at Snowshoe.
I forgot about that.
Hey,
I was there for that one too.
So I'm not one to I'm not one to keep my mouth shut. Obviously, a lot of people know that about me. It's not that I'm arrogant. It's just that at the end of the day, I still got to sleep at night, and I'm a fucking man's man. Like, I got my pride, and that's about all I got. I got my word and my pride, and I can live with that. I can sleep with that. But I got involved. I got involved with some 50 parents that have tested me to no ends. And let's just say, if I didn't have the respect I did for the Coombs family and wanted a regional at my track, I probably would have knocked somebody's teeth in last weekend. That was pretty difficult. And I don't understand. You can't ration or reason with somebody who is unreasonable. And it is very difficult. It is very difficult to deal with those 50 parents. So promoters probably understand it. And some of the 50 parents might understand it based on if they're open-minded and have some older kids maybe. But like a lot of people that are in that 50 group, they are new to it and they don't understand it. Like it's wild. But yeah, enough about the 50 dads, or I'm going to get fired up here and I might drink the bottle of tequila Jade sent in the car. She's drinking margaritas tonight, so
Hell yeah.
Dude, I can't imagine.
yeah.
Even like working at Mid-East, man, I saw a kid get second, and the grandfather goes over there, grabs him by his helmet, starts shaking him and yelling at him. It's like, you fat old man, what have you ever done to be shaking the helmet of a damn 5-6-year-old who got second to a really good kid? Anyway, besides the point. Getting back to the racing thing. And it's getting dark over there. You're at a birthday party. We'll try to wrap it up here soon. Appreciate your time. One of the things that we kind of talked about last week is you have always been outspoken, not outspoken, but not afraid to say that you want to retire young. You just mentioned a minute ago you might be done after next season. One of the things that we talked about last week is a lot of these guys, when retirement is on the line, it's like, what do I have to turn to? I've spent my whole life up until my mid-30s, lower 30s, 30, whatever it is. What am I going to do after this? My whole life has been racing. You, on the other hand, you have a hand in a national race series. You have a hand in a factory race team. And you have a hand in a training facility. You have all these other things outside of racing that have now become such a big part of you, of your livelihood, of what you and your family are building. Do you think about that kind of stuff when you weigh retirement or weigh how much longer you'll be racing? Does it almost make that carrot a little bit closer, dangling, when you know that you have other things going on around you to keep you involved in the sport, where you wouldn't necessarily have to leave and go with Pops locating or site surveying?
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. Like for me, there's a reason that I started all this when I did and how I did. I actually told this story today. So in 2014, I was riding for factory KTM in 2013. 2013 to 14. At the end of 2014, I had the team manager promise me a bunch of shit. And he can deny it. Like I will gladly, like if he wanted to, fuck him, let's go. But he told me that I would have a salary, a mechanic, and all this stuff. I ended up having to buy my own bikes. I took everything that I had made in my younger career. I got injured in 2012 to win the National Enduro Championship. Ended up costing myself a season in 2013. And in 2014, I just could not recover from the surgeries that it took to get me back on track. But I was at a point where I didn't have anywhere to turn. And then I started looking around and seeing other guys retire, and I was like, man, there is nothing in the sport. Like there's no loyalty. Like, sweet. So there's one or two guys who got a job being a rep or something where they're still traveling the country every day of the year for $70,000. And the majority of that money is spent to travel, and they still have no home life, no family. Like it's not for a pro rider. It's vicious. So, in 2015, all I knew was racing. So I started doing riding schools to afford my racing. In 2016, did the same. SRT was kind of my rebound year. I got back financially, kind of back on my feet in 2017, 18, 19. Obviously, I went on and won some championships and just completely turned around my career. But at that same time, I was building the Shoals MX. And in my mind, I'd done the riding schools. I saw the motocross side of things where they had these training facilities, and I knew that it could and would be something. And we started building it. And, you know, the Woods, my uncle, the Caleb Wood, obviously at that point, Caleb was a 50 rider. Lost my light.
I remember Caleb hitting a jump at the Shoals before I did. I was on a 250F or 350, and someone said, "Dude, that kid on the 50's hitting it." And I see Caleb Wood. I just see like mullet flying. I'm like, "Holy shit, dude! That kid's hitting it. I gotta hit it." I was so pissed off. I remember.
Like, so when he started, like, I mean, he started a little bit late to be as successful as he was at such a young age. And a lot of it was, you know, we had a facility. I was the trainer. Like myself and Andrew Matusa were training that kid, and he's kind of one of the byproducts of our success story. And I was kind of building that. Obviously not solely. It still to this day, it takes a team, not just an individual. It was a dream of mine, but yeah. In the back of my mind, it's always been constant. Like I do not want to be a guy that retires and says, now what? I've always kind of looked a little bit ahead as far as that goes, and obviously it was kind of a shock, but there in 2014, my brother was supposed to sign with KTM in 2015. He didn't. Ended up with Yamaha, and somehow my verbal agreement of you're going to have a mechanic and a small salary and all this turned into we'll give you $500 a round and discounts on bikes, and that's what I got. And a small parts allotment. I think $10,000 to get me through the year.
Dude, Stu, real quick, is that when everyone because I didn't know you then, but is that when everybody like made the like assumption that it was because you were just kind of you weren't like a company man, like you just kind of said what you said, like everyone was like, oh, he's not a puppet, you know what I mean? That's kind of what everyone said was maybe he smarted off something or said something to the wrong person, or that was like me not knowing you and not knowing the actual situation. That's why everyone said you got kicked off a factory team back then.
So it's funny, the rumors dictated who I became and how my career went. So at that point in time, man, I was KTM through and through. I had ridden with KTM ride or die since the 50s. I mean, I signed my first contract with KTM in 2004. I was 9 years old with Jack Penton, and he was seeing up the youth program, and I rode it all the way through to the pro ranks, won them multiple championships, and you know they don't repay loyalty with loyalty. You're a name and a number, and no, at that point, 2013, 12, I was never that person. You can go back and watch videos. I was very polite. Yes, sir. No, sir. I didn't cuss. I didn't drink. I didn't do any. I mean, I was young. Like obviously, I couldn't drink, but I was very, very polite. I was never that person. And then in 2015 is when it kind of all changed. I went in 2015 like, man, fuck this. Like genuinely, that was my mindset. Like, pardon my French, but like that was my mindset. Was I gave my life to this, and this is what I got in return. And I said, you know what? Like, we're going to go racing dirt bikes. It is what it is, and it's fun, it's cool, but this is how we're going to do it. Started racing the OMAs. OMAs were kind of an easy paycheck for me. KTM had good contingency there. I was taking my Dodge pickup truck, sleeping in the back seat of my pickup truck on a Saturday, making a couple $1,000s there from KTM, a couple thousand from SRT, and just in the post contingency, turning around, driving through the night, making it to Mid-East, racing to Mid-East on Sunday. And that was how I afforded to go GNCC and National Enduro Racing, where I really wasn't making bonuses because I wasn't riding that phenomenal at the time, but I was doing enough to get by, doing some riding schools to straight by. And again, like that was where it's like, man, like I dropped out of school. So I a lot of people don't know this, but I went to school for business and marketing. I started my college degree. I graduated early at 16. I started college at 16. At 16 years old, I was dual enrolled, graduated with over 4.0 GPA. I think 4.3. I was smart. And I was smarter I was smarter than I should have been, but not smart enough to realize how screwed I was getting by these corporations. And I mean, yeah, I kind of screwed myself, and I'm big, and you can ask my team right now, like something that I probably tell my mechanics and my riders and my team in every meeting is, don't work with your back against the wall. And I'm good with my back against the wall. Don't get me wrong. Half my life was with my back against the wall, but I don't like having my back against the wall. And it started back then. Like, I had my back against the wall, and I don't like that feeling. I don't like that helpless feeling of, what the hell do I do now? So since then, yeah, I had, like I said, I told this story, and I had this conversation with somebody today, but I turned what was a horror story into a small empire, with a common goal, and built around the sport of racing dirt bikes. And it's a cool story that the world doesn't know all the details, and never will know some of the details. Obviously, you guys saw the Cooper Rabbit thing this week, but there's a lot of details that I'll never get to share on that subject. But
Interesting.
yeah, I mean, yeah, my life was definitely not it was not a fairy tale. It was a horror story, and I turned it into something different. And it's the same thing that I tell my guys, I tell my riders, I tell my trainees. Like, there's a mindset that you have to have. But yeah, to wrap up, I guess, on that question, like, I started doing all this because I knew that it would be a really tough transition from when I left the sport, and I never knew when that year would be. When I signed a contract in 2020 with a company that I don't even want to give them the love to even say their name, but when I signed a contract in 2020, it was a 5-year deal that was supposed to get me through 2025, and it was going to be my retirement year. It was a 3-year racing deal, 2-year management. Was racing and managing until 30, and then I was going to retire. I'm not quite on par with that. I'll probably be racing until I'm 32, but I'm still able to win. And it's tough to walk away, like, when you know you can win. Like, right now, today, I can arrogantly say this, and damn, it sounds arrogant, but I am the most well-rounded rider in the country right now.
Hell
Take it or leave
yeah.
it.
Tell them.
Take it or leave it. A lot of people will say otherwise, but, like, you put a supercross rider in the woods, you put an enduro cross rider in the wood, you put a hard enduro rider in the woods. You put me on a motocross track, you put me on a supercross track, you put me on a hard enduro. I'm telling you right now, GNCC World Enduro makes the best damn riders. And I would say right now that if you had a 7, like, kind of a triathlon style, except with 7 different disciplines of dirt bikes: supercross, motocross, enduro cross, hard enduro, GNCC, sprint enduro. You put it down, you mark my damn words, I'm the best. Right now, I am the most well-rounded. And I'm doing this shit while running a team. Now this is where it gets tough. I'm doing this shit while still very actively running a team, building a house, having kids, running. I mean, I obviously, some of you guys know my involvement with the National Enduros. I've got a lot of shit going on, and I'm still this damn good. And that's not me being arrogant. That's facts. I told this story earlier, and it's not me being a dick. It's black and white. It's facts. You can't argue with it. A year ago, 2 years ago, I would say there's an argument, but the way that I live my life, and the way that I have to live my life, and most business owners do live their life, is you can't look outside the window, you look in the window. And right now, looking in the window, not out the window, because the grass ain't always greener, and what you see somebody else doing ain't always true. But when you look in the window from the outside looking in, if you gave me 6 months of no bullshit, I could do anything at this point. At 30 years old, I'm telling you, like, it's there. So it's hard to walk away from. But I have set myself up. I feel confident that when I walk away, I'll be able to walk away with my head held high. And I know after comments like I just said, I lose fans. But for the 3 that I lost, I gained 30. So have at it. Cut me down. You can take me out at the knees, and I'm still living better than you. Like, that's the way I look at life.
Cowie needs a
That's what it
supercross
is.
rider right now. Anderson's out.
Buddy,
Let's
I
go.
literally sent Dan a text message and I said, give me a mud round. After all the shit I talked, like, this is the thing. This is the thing that people forget and fail to remember about me. I said, and I think I said it on this podcast, I could run a team better than the next guy. And I'll be damned if I haven't. I said I didn't like the way that series were run.
Blackface.
The second that I got a chance to be involved with a national series, guess what? I bought controlling interest. I will always back up what I say. I'm not a bullshitter. Now, I talk a lot, and I might be arrogant, but there's a fine line. There's a fine line between positivity and cockiness. I'm not cocky. I'm arrogant. I'll tell you, I'm slightly arrogant, but you got to be. Name me a top athlete that's not. Now, with that said, I'm a realist. If tomorrow things change, like, I'm not going to say that I'm the best or ever will be the best. Caleb Russell 4 years ago was a hell of a lot better than I am today. Overall, I would say that same statement that I said about him or about myself, I would say that about him. Like, he was the best, most well-rounded rider on the scene of dirt bike racing. Plain and simple. That's facts. Supercross Butterfield, do 7 different events on that day in 2020. KR 557 would be the fucking man to beat. Today, I think it's me. If my bike finishes and I'm healthy, I think put me on 7 rounds. Like, it is what it is.
Southwick with teammate Josh this summer.
Listen, we have a National Enduro the next day, and
Brother.
I'm going up against him for the National Enduro Championship, and I don't know that I got the balls to back up my mouth on that one.
That's
because if it
PA
comes down to the
weekend, I think.
championship, there's still a lot of money there.
That's PA weekend, isn't it? Cross Fork,
It
Pennsylvania.
is Ohio. Wellsville, I believe.
Wellston.
Wellston.
Yeah,
Wellston.
my hometown,
Yeah.
bud. Hometown hero.
You guys got to be on even playing fields going into Sunday. Go dog yourself out at Southwick.
No,
even
okay.
playing field on Sunday.
We can even it out. We can just go to the corner pub or Marie Laveau's in Jackson, Ohio, and get shithouse drunk and get bar fights. It doesn't take much. All you got to do is walk in.
With Craig.
And you get cold. Dude, every time
Craig
I go to
gets in
that
a fight
town,
every
I
time he
get
goes
cold
home.
cocked. Someone says something stupid, then I get jumped out in the parking lot.
Hey, I went to a Mexican restaurant there last
Toro Loco.
year. It was actually pretty good. Like, and there was a party, like low key, there was a party going on like a Thursday night there. Like, everybody was there to have a good time.
Toro Loco, bud.
I remember
Hometown.
one time Craig was going home and came over and was asking for boxing lessons and all sorts of little tips and tricks going and up to Ohio
I got
looking for trouble.
Kicked straight in the face. God, it hurt.
Listen, all right, I've got 2 kids that are over their birthday party date. Any questions about the race this weekend? Because all I've done so far is show my ass and talk about how full of myself I am. You know, somebody else made a comment about somebody being full of themselves. Well, I'm just letting everybody know, for the listeners, I won't retract what I said. I'll back what I said. I'm not arrogant. Come find me. I'm probably the most approachable guy in the pits every weekend. I'm always there for the kids. I'm always there. Like, come by. I literally give tours to the rig. You want to come see a factory semi? Come and ask. Like, if it's not me, the nicest guy out there, Doug Duchette. Don't ask my mechanic. He's a dick.
Doug is the man.
Yeah, Doug is the man.
But
Big Doug.
But
man.
yeah, come see us. Like, the Kawasaki way of doing things is very differently than most, and we're all friends. We're very easily approachable. My child loves giving rig tours. He loves giving away his new race stickers. I may come off a little full of myself, but at the end of the day, like, I have to be that way because I'm there to win races. And listen, there was a time where I was miserable and literally borderline suicidal over what I did with my life and racing in that 2015-16 era. I mean, I gave my life to racing for it to flip on me. So yeah, like I can be slightly full of it at this point, and I can back it. And I'm just a little salty with the industry right now, and I think Tyler knows why. I made a comment this weekend on the podium. I made some comments there at the finish line. There's a reason that I'm being a little bit salty, but I'm sure you guys saw that ISDE list that was released. Well, let's just say that I put in a lot of work to be on that team this year. I with Ryan Sipes, the team manager and trainer, my struggle has always been cross tests, and I put a lot of work in to get that spot, and I didn't, because I didn't make it to the qualifier, and neither did 3 of the 4 on the pick list. So, yeah, and I talked to Tyler about it a little bit today, but every year that Caselli Cup is given to somebody usually based on ISD is a big weight on it. Well, I think that you can't dictate who the best and most well-rounded riders are if it's a closed selection that's based off of bullshit. So that's why I'm a little bit salty today. I got a chip on my shoulder with it. That's also why I rode a little bit fast this weekend. I was tired of the XC2 boys catching us on the first lap, so I sent it on that first lap, crashed twice, and I was still picking my shit up and getting after it. But
And they still caught you on the first lap.
yeah, they gained some.
Only 8 seconds, though.
Don't worry, they would have caught us too.
I'm pretty sure they caught my first lap. They caught at least one of my first lap crashes. I was checked out there for a bit on first lap, but I had a few tip overs, and I had nobody to look at. I had nobody to. Man, it's a whole lot easier to follow than lead.
Makes a huge
I did it on
Especially
a
like
blind,
that.
muddy track.
And so I know you got to go, and I don't want to take up more of your time. I was going to take you off screen and kind of ask if we could talk about that. You brought it up, though. Like you said, talking about being one of the most well-rounded people on a dirt bike today. The ISDE thing, obviously big news. I know that you were trying to get on the team, doing the grass track stuff, setting it up, training. It seems like the qualifier aligned with some prior obligations that you had to do, so you weren't able to make it. But from that perspective, like you being on championship teams, junior trophy, world trophy, being a former full gas champion when full gas was full gas, and I don't want to go into detail. You know what I mean by saying winning full gas when it was full gas. What is that like, man? How does that process go? And why do you think that it went down like it did, especially like who you are in the sport? You already got one of your guys going. You've been on those championship teams. And it seems like a snub of sorts for – I'm not sure what the integrity of the team's choosing is.
There's a vendetta there. I mean –
I am I'm going to say this as professionally as I can with a lot of Stu Baylor in it, which is not professional. I build everything, every part of my businesses and every part of my racing and every part of the race team based on one thing. That is cold, hard facts, black and white, something that you can't argue. And racing and those who dictate racing and who controls racing do not. There is a pecking order and everything, and that's in life too. It's very political. It doesn't matter if it's your 9 to 5 or if you're the contractor fighting for a job that you want down the street, and one guy's buddies with the city council that's bringing it in. I mean, it doesn't matter where you are. If you're working in a mill or anywhere in between, there's politics. Well, let's just say when you stand against the grain, it's easy to be overlooked.
Brand specific.
Brand specific is some of it, but I don't think that's all of it. A lot of people say that. I don't want to say that. I don't want to say this brand specific. I think it's more about being submissive. And I'll be damned if I'm going to kneel down at somebody's feet that does and says and acts the way that certain people do in this.
Fuck. Uh-oh. He's getting a phone call.
Levi cut the landline.
The powers that be heard him on the podcast. They called him trying to shut it down.
RKO'd him right off the live stream.
We'll give it a second to Bruce Buffer, see if it comes back. A lot of interesting stuff being said in this conversation here tonight.
Yeah, I guess me saying the
He gone.
Let's see what we got. What was that? So we're on the right thing there. Hey, we'll go here. What's going on?
I guess me saying that are we still on?
Oh,
yeah.
I guess one moment here. We are troubleshooting.
Is Stu still on?
No. Cut out. His phone might have died, honestly.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be a short conversation. We ended up being on there quite a bit.
I guess the brand specific thing, didn't really make a whole lot of sense because the year that they won title, I don't think everyone was on. They were because Sipes was on Husky, Lame's on a Husky, Stu was on a KTM. Who's the other guy? Caleb, KTM.
And Sipes.
He was on a
and
Husky.
I know, so like in the past, like I know that because they for the ISDE, they load up a crate, ship the crate to wherever they're racing. And so a lot of that is like if you can get more people, the call failed, so I'm assuming his phone is dead. So we might have got everything from Stu. I'll see if he texts me back if he gets it going. But they load everything up, so a lot of times they do want to aim to get a lot of the same bikes over there because it cuts down on spare parts that they need to bring. I think that became a point of contention when Stu was on Yamaha. At least it was portrayed that way, like, hey, we're bringing a bunch of these parts. You're going to be the only Yamaha.
Yeah.
We're going to have to stock a whole thing up just for your bike. But then, like, now that you got Toth going. Toth, highest finishing rider on the ISDE team last year. And then to that point, too, Nick DeFeo was a guy that was in the talks for the junior team last year and in the junior talks for junior teams this year. This year, Cooper Jones gets the nod. But, like, I wonder what goes into that selection process to be able to determine, hey, and should we change that? Should there be a committee? Because like Stu mentioned and something that him and I talked about on the phone is the Caselli Cup, where they rank the top 25 best riders in the nation. I've been lucky enough to be a part of that panel here the past couple of years and use the ISDE finish by Josh Toth basically to push him over the edge to get the top spot in the Caselli Cup this year. And Stu is a rider that has not been in that top spot of the Caselli Cup, and I think that's something that he wants to be recognized as. And so without that opportunity to get to the race, the ISDE that is, you don't have the opportunity to show that you're one of the best riders in the world without the opportunity to even get there to do it.
Yeah. Something I was thinking about, too, is, when you watch, like, World GP or the Enduro GP videos, there's not a whole lot of, like, Kawasaki's. Like when I was in Chile, not a whole lot of Kawasaki's. Over Europe, you never see stuff like that. So it is kind of weird whenever they do send, like, 9 times out of 10, it's mostly Husky, Gas, KTM, what we noticed. I do think it's interesting whenever you go and see all the different riders from different places. There's a lot of betas over there, a lot of TMs, but mostly Husky Fantics, Husky Gas, KTM. So like this year, Josh Toth going on a Kawasaki KX250F, I'm assuming, or whatever they call it, KX250X, whatever. I do think it's interesting. You see the different bikes over there, and how they rank it. It is kind of hard to rank the Caselli Cup without taking into full, advantage how Josh did at ISD. Yeah. That's what I think we had the conversation while that was all going on. And a lot of the guys, I don't know if a lot of guys on the board were from the West Coast, because they all thought the West Coast guys.
I'm the only East Coast guy.
So they all thought the West Coast guys were it. Well, then you had Josh winning National Enduros and, pretty substantial win, like 6 in a row, I believe. Always in the podium pretty much. I think he had one bad race, but it was all podiums. Yeah, I think looking at it just West Coast guys, off-road, ISE, I think they made the best choice with Josh winning, being top American shows that,
Yeah. And the way it went this year is like they weight GNCC heavy because of what GNCC is. But like this year, Dante winning 2 championships on the West Coast, being a part of the ISDE team and their success. And then Toth won the National Enduro Championship but didn't race all of GNCC's, but became the first rider to overall a race from the second row.
Yeah.
And then it was kind of like someone mentioned like, hey, so-and-so mentioned maybe putting Josh up there, but I think that's a little bit crazy. And I was like, what? Like, he won National Enduro, but he didn't even race GNCC. And then the more I thought about it, and it's like, dude, he raced Southwick. He raced Hard Enduro. He raced National Enduro. He raced
8 different manufacturers.
Yeah, 8 different manufacturers.
He almost outran
one
Tyler
season.
Palmer on a 95 CR250 with no brakes.
Yeah,
That had a stinking the air boot was leaking. It was sitting there surging, wouldn't even run.
yeah. So the way the conversation went, it was kind of pointing that stuff out. And it's like, you know what? Like, this might not be crazy to say that Josh Toth is the number 1 rider in the country right now because of what he did. He
Yeah.
won a sprint enduro. He won something else random. I had a whole list of it because I had to sell it. to
Dude,
these dudes and, like,
he
pitch it.
changed my whole idea of how I have to have my bike set up because he can jump on a 95 CR, which he's 150 pounds. I was 250 pounds when I was sitting there arguing this. He can jump on a CR250 and do as good as he did. Get on a YZ125 and just kind of play around, win a local, and then obviously how he does at these other races. And he's like a suspension tech's dream. You go up and
Yeah.
he's like, what needs to get changed? It feels fine. Just don't even worry about it. He's like, you don't want to change this? You can. Changes it. It feels fine.
Yeah.
Either way. Like, dude can get on a clapped out KDX and still outrun anybody at a local.
And to that point, I was up there shooting when they were doing their training at the beginning of the season. The day after the photo shoot, FC was there. They were doing their suspension settings and training. And when Josh took the couple years off of GNCC racing to kind of do everything, it was kind of following the Ryan Sipes blueprint. And what Ryan did when he first went and started racing flat track, racing supercross, racing motocross, all that kind of stuff. Well, Ryan is now the team manager down there. And so to your point, basically after they did the test loop, Josh comes back and kind of just nonchalant about it, like, hey, like, this works, this didn't work, this is what I'm feeling. And Sipes was like to the point of like, I guess what I'm trying to get at is just hearing those two because of they're so unique in the same areas.
This one?
Yeah. Just hearing them kind of talk about settings and talk about how they felt bikes. And like Ryan Sipes straight up after riding a lap on Toth's bike, essentially was like, hey, I don't like this at all, but I can see how it works for you.
Yeah.
And Toth was kind of the same way. Like, he sets his bike up a little bit different way, but it works for him. But, like, to hear, like, Ryan being a team manager that can jump on – he rode everybody's bikes that day.
Yeah.
And, after Ron Toth, he's like, hey, I don't like this, but I can see what you're saying. I can see why you – it was cool to hear them kind of break it down.
At the same time, you can watch a B rider, like guys I was racing against a couple years ago, even like, local A guys. Their forks could be 2 clicks off. They're like, I can't ride today. I just can't ride it. I just can't do it. And I'm like – dude, I haven't set my sag for a year.
We have a good buddy that's like that. My bars are 2 millimeters forward. And
Dude,
the whole day.
I don't know anything. I don't know what's going on. I literally set my sag this weekend for the first time in like 6 months.
Anyway,
was
sorry,
like,
we got off on a
good.
tangent, but joining us back with a phone charger, Stu Baylor Jr. I know you were almost at the end, but I wanted to give you your chance to get back on here.
Yeah. Anyways, so Chevys. I'm not a Chevy fan. I'm a Ford guy. I bought my wife a Chevy. They don't charge apparently when their key's not on. So I thought that I had it plugged in this whole time, and I didn't.
Dang.
And they charge really slow. So like the chances that it may just die while it's still on charge are still there. But anyways, yeah. So I'm not gonna get on my knees for anybody to get farther ahead in racing. I've worked hard. I've got a long established career, and if people don't think that I'm worthy enough for that ISDE team, then cool. I'll probably go on a club team next year and see where I stack up against them. But yeah, kind of upsetting. Like I did work really hard this year with Ryan and some grass track stuff, and now being with Pirelli, which is also a Metzler company. We've got to spend a lot of time on the ISDE tires, and I actually raced on the ISDE tires there in Tennessee, just to be prepared for myself. And I practiced on the whole. by choice. It was they were good, but like also I wanted to go to ISD, so like Auntie kept talking about how Dante and some of the other riders were able to race all their races on ISDE tires, so I wanted to do the same. I followed suit, and yeah, that was kind of a goal of mine. Like I really wanted to go this year, so just a bummer, but yeah.
If you go on a club team, I'll fly over and be a team supporter. Point lines.
Too late for me to go. Too late for me to go this year. Maybe next year.
Maybe a fill-in ride will open up. But have you thought about going to maybe a sprint enduro this year? Line it up.
There's a full gas this
Seeing how
weekend,
it
and we're
goes.
going drinking afterwards. If you want to hook a guy up,
It's not a sprint enduro.
Is it a full gas sprint enduro or a hair scramble?
GP.
it is a 230s at the Dimmer Precision Grading Compound.
Wait, in Denver, North Carolina?
It's in Kings Mountain,
Mountain.
even closer,
Right next to the casino.
right next to the casino.
Real the casino that Tyler Shepardson loses money at every week?
Brother.
I'll be there.
Oh, he's pissed.
I'll be there.
I was on a hot streak there for a little bit, but
Oh, damn.
Yeah, Michael.
All right. But yeah, as far as anything, as far as the race this weekend, sorry, I like I said, I had a chip on my shoulder. The ISDE thing really upset me. The announcement, the way that everything went down. The reason I was told that I couldn't go was because I didn't make it to the qualifier, but yet 3 of the 4 members that were selected did not make it to the qualifier. So just like I say, a political skewed industry that we live in, and it doesn't matter. I mean, everybody that's a listener here knows it doesn't matter if you're in business with local government or construction or even at a mill. There is a hierarchy, and the way that things are done is kind of shitty. And I think the way the world works right now has gone down a bad path. And I'll be damned. I feel like I'm probably talking to most of the listeners right now, but I'll be damned if you don't stand with Donald Trump right now, then buddy, you better reconsider your life and your decisions, because it's gotten worse and worse and worse, and we're on a bad path to where it's not just politics, it's not just local government, it's not just national government, it's not just world government, but it's everything you see and everything you do is dictated by others, and I don't like it. You can ask the guys on my team. The way that I run things is very, very different, and I don't like the way that things are run right now, and I might not be able to change, but I'll make a small dent in it. So,
is it?
and I think that voicing your opinion like this, even if it falls on deaf ears, at least it's falling on a few that are listening.
Yeah, the waste of time listening to this show. But
Hey, where did you get that?
I heard it somewhere. But is there like a committee? Like, is there multiple people that vote on these ISDE teams, or is it solely decided by an individual, perhaps?
They all say there's a committee, but that's also like, let's just say, a few racing incidences that have happened and protests that have happened over the last decade. It really comes down to one person getting pissed off and overthrowing or dictating because they want to throw their weight around. And yeah, I for one won't stand for it. Actually, on the contrary, I'm against it. And I'm honest. I don't lie. I don't cheat, and I don't steal. I'm as honest as they come. And when I did cheat, it was an accident there in Georgia, and I damn protested myself. I went straight to Carrie. You can ask her. I mean, I went straight to Carrie, and I told her what happened. That's the type of person I am. But there's a lot of people that aren't. I got videos of riders cutting this weekend, other pro riders, WXC riders on other teams. My team actually sent them to me and said, "What do you want to do?" And I said, "I won't stoop to their level. Keep them in case we need them."
Yeah, hell with them.
I think
Yep.
winning both those races kind of sorts that out a little bit too.
Yeah. But at the same time, I've got guys. I got video from this weekend of guys turning around stringer and going under stringer, and there's a group of people that said that one of my riders did it earlier this year, and I got videos of their riders doing it now. They tried to protest mine. I didn't say shit. I did not say a damn thing. I got the videos on my phone, and they won't be leaked unless I need to. But
Here, send them to me. I'll play them.
Again, it's not, in the grand scheme of things, that's just stooping to their level, and I won't be a piece of shit. Sorry. It just ain't in my blood. I think that racing needs to be honest and integrity. And in these videos, the guys were actually going under ribbon and stringer and taking a slower line just to get around a mud hole, which is the same thing that my rider did. But in that case, they tried to protest mine. In my case, I just held it in my chest. I think Tyler likes playing cards. I got a poker face on me. So, that's where I am. I mean, like I say, obviously anybody that's listened to this point in the podcast can tell that I've got a chip on my shoulder today, unlike any podcast that I've done on here before. But, yeah, actually not unlike any. I think we had some back in 21 and 22 where I talked shit. I talked shit on teams and team owners, didn't I? You remember that?
Let's
just say
we've been through
let's
the
just
gamut.
say that
I was there.
That everything that I said, I'm not going to retract all of it, but some of the things that I said about teams and team owners, I do take back. Now being one, riders are assholes.
Oh wait, hold on. I got something. Keep talking, but I got something for you.
Yeah, I listened in on your walkie-talkies too.
Oh shit, riders are assholes. Mechanics are hard to deal with, and management of being over top of both of them is even harder to take care of. Like trying to make everybody work together, my God, it's a lot. So I do feel for managers and team owners now in a way that I didn't before, and even one of the managers, probably my least favorite manager, that I talked about there, that was my 2014-15 one that kind of misled me or led me on to believe one thing and did another. A lot of his tactics, he's probably the most organized and structured one. I try to tell, it's just like my team meetings. I always tell everybody, I'm going to harp on the bad, but there's still a lot of good. There's more good than bad in all of it. I really do say that. I say that from the heart. It does suck the politics that play into racing, but now being on both sides, I've played both sides of the fence. There is more good than bad. Even on the worst of my managers, there's more good than bad. It's just the bad always sticks out. It doesn't matter what you do in life. The bad sticks out and outweighs the good. And I probably actually learn more and see more from the worst of, in my mind, the worst of my managers, than anybody. And it was because the structure that he had and still has today, and I think you guys probably know who I'm talking about, but very structured, very organized, and I respect him to the core. I don't like him, but I respect him to his core because he has sacrificed his life for this racing the same way that I have, and he's found a way to survive in this vicious sport, and he's kept it organized. And it's very difficult to keep everybody happy and organized in this series, or in racing in general. But
one way to keep everybody happy is to tell them what they want to hear and not do it.
That is the key. That is the key. You tell them it's the Joe Biden way of doing things, and there's some that do that. There's some that do that, and there's some that don't. Me, man, if you can pull up where I said something and use it against me, by God, do it, because I'm ready. Like I challenge. Sometimes I challenge myself because I say some dumb shit and I need to be challenged. And I am my biggest critic, which is why I started a team, and also why I invested in this racing series. It's like, man, I talk the shit. Now I got to back it up.
I will say, I did a podcast live in studio with a future team owner, future team manager one time, and spent better part of the 2 hours
talking about XC2.
So I wanted to show you this, see if you remember, see if we can get it focused. Can you read that enough?
I've got a bad connection.
Well, it's a Polaroid picture of you that says Stu Baylor
XC2 sucks.
XC2 sucks. And you talked about how people don't need to be going back to XC2, how people need to move up to the XC1 class, and I think like a month later sign Josh Toth to XC2.
No, Thad.
And Thad. That's what it was.
It was sad.
Yeah.
It was sad.
Yeah.
And so
Well,
You see what had
I want to
happened
be
was
transparent. I want to be transparent on that one. And that's one of those things where after you become a team owner / manager, whatever you want to say it, you get those curveballs. So I had a contract that said I had to have an XC1 and an XC2 rider. When I called Dad and I said, Dad, this is probably going to be belittling to you, but this is what I got. This is all I can do. And if it's not to you, it's going to have to go to somebody else. Dad didn't want to do it. So nobody, I saw some comments, some negative comments toward Dad. And I you guys have seen my responses on social media. I'm not candid. I will tell somebody to go fuck themselves in a heartbeat. And I did. I had his back. Thad did not want to go to XC2, nor did I want to move him to XC2. Thad and I grew up racing together, and it was probably one of the more tough conversations that I had. It wasn't equal to firing somebody, but it was up there with it, because it's like, hey man, do you want to degrade? Do you want to go back? And Thad did not want to. Thad did not want to go to XC2. So don't anybody mistake that. I saw some comments that were negative towards him. He did not choose that, nor did I. I had contracts that said I had to have an XC2 rider. One XC1, one XC2, and that was the only way that I got the full payment. That's tough. When I got these contracts, a lot of people, I basically walked away from Yamaha. I was tired. I was tired of teams. I hated teams at that point. I said a lot on this same podcast back in 2022. If you want to go back and refresh yourself, you can listen to them. I didn't like teams. I didn't like managers, and I didn't like the way things were going. So I said I was going to stand against it, and I'll be damned if I didn't. Went out on a limb, myself and Todd Ely, and we.
Oh no!
And there he goes. I guess that Chevy wasn't charging. Oh wait, hold on. Call him right back, real quick.
I think it's this computer.
Oh, was the computer plugged in?
Yep.
it looks to be.
Uh-oh.
Damn.
We got problems.
The FaceTime
And it just got good.
Ruh-roh.
It got real quiet.
him.
I think that time might have been my bad.
We were plugged up to a Chevy.
I was wondering. I didn't see that I lost service.
Yeah. So the computer dies faster than it charges. And we ran out of juice. So if you want to wrap that one up, we'll put you on here, but it'll be audio for you.
That works. Audio it is.
So yeah, sorry, didn't mean to cut you off in the middle of that one. You were on a good tangent there.
You're good. I figured I would at least back it up. At least nothing else if I would have Thad's back.
Yeah. No, and that's I brought that up just joking around, just because I think it's funny that you wrote that on the picture, and I just happen to know where it was. So
No, I like it because honestly, I haven't got a chance to discuss that at all. Nobody's ever asked that. So I kind of like it because I'm still in the same standpoint on XC2.
yeah.
So
Get in there, win, and move out.
exactly.
And it worked out.
By the time you're 24, just like in fucking World Enduro, get out of the fucking junior class. Grow up.
Yeah.
Are we on audio right now?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well then, there we go. I said it. But yeah, get out of the junior class, grow up. You're 20. If you're 24, move the hell out of there. But yeah, to wrap it up, we signed some contracts. We had to have XC2 guys. It was part of the way that we got paid, and that's just the cost of doing business. We did what we could with what we had to make it work. And ideally, I'd love to have everybody on one row. You know, we talked about it, I think, right before we got cut off last time, but I'd love to have everybody on one row. I think I think it'd be fun. I hate XC2 still. Like, I think that, man, if you're that fast, like, let's move us all. Instead of having 11 guys on there, let's make it look like a supercross or a motocross. Hell, put 40 of us on.
25, 30. Let's do it.
Yeah. I mean, let's go. Like,
I won't be
if
there,
you're a man,
but
let's be a man. I can look back when I was a kid. There was 12th, 15th, 20th place guys that were making salaries to race dirt bikes. And man, the pictures that I have from the early days when I was racing GNCCs in the early 2000s, there was like 30 to 40 people going into turn one with red backgrounds. Like, that was some crazy shit. Yeah. Rodney Smith might win one weekend and be 19th the next. Like, craziness. And I think a year like this year would be insane if you made it to where all of the top 20 had to line up on the same row. It'd be absolutely insane. There'd be days where championship points leaders might be 19th overall in racing.
Yeah.
If you started the top 3 of the A class in with XC1 right now, they would mix it up, especially on weekends like this. They'd mix it up, promise.
Yeah. Gavin Simon running 6th overall most of the race.
Yeah. I mean, the speed's there, but yeah, I got to wrap it up. I've got a beautiful baby girl that is probably tired by now. I've got a little boy that is not beautiful, but he's an angry little elf that is ready to go. Thank you for letting me bend your thank you for letting me bend your ear. The weekend was great. Led primarily start to finish. It was good. My emotions have taken over my business mindset here lately, and I've been speaking from the heart, and I'm back at it. My last few podcasts have not been honest; they've been bullshit. So I'm back at it. You want to talk about real shit? Here I am. I told my team last week, I was like, I let you guys down by letting things that should have been addressed sooner not being addressed on the point. And I haven't been myself. I've been trying to do. I read a lot. It's weird. I know. Listening to me, you wouldn't think that I'm a reader. I do read a lot, and I primarily read on business. And let's just say that you can read all the business books that you want. It doesn't always reflect on your business. My business was started from my heart and my passion for the sport. The last year of my career, I've put focus on trying to do all the right things and make it look good from the outside looking in. It was a year and a half ago, or a year and 4 weeks ago today. And this race last year is when everybody found out that I was taking over the Kawasaki program. And I really tried to clean up and restructure. But then I just realized 2 weeks ago, I didn't ask for the Kawasaki program. They asked me. So I'm going back to me. I'm going to be me. And if they don't like it, if nobody likes it, it is what it is. But I can live with myself. My wife can live with me, but she can't live with me being unhappy and not saying what I got to say. So I'm a little, like I say, I got a chip on my shoulder. I'm not always this arrogant, but man, this week I'm pretty pissed off after the ISDE thing. Not stoked on it. I told everybody after last year and the selection last year that I wanted on the team this year and I'd work for it. And I did that. I mean, we laid out a cross test. I worked my ass off for it. We were ready for sprints, and yeah, it was this podcast. This podcast is exactly like the race was this weekend. I got a damn chip on my shoulder, and I'll be damned if I won't prove it. So, but you guys might see me at that full gas this weekend. That sounds fun. Kings Mountain's only 2 hours away, so I might go and do some local racing. We all started somewhere. We all started for the core of the sport, and I got to say something. In closing, some people made some comments about the lappers and stuff that could have possibly dictated my championship. If that lapper is listening to this podcast, I want them to know, and I think I said it this weekend, I don't know if they played it on live, but it ain't your fault.
We all race together. It's not like Supercross and motocross. I love the fact that people get to race on the same race course as us. And I know some people don't like that. But at the end of the day, it is part of what we do. And it was a bad luck and wrong place, wrong time. I don't blame whoever it was, that individual. I don't even know their name. I was seeing red. If I cussed out, I'm sorry. But most lappers will tell you if they get out of my way quickly, I'm the rider that will shut my throttle off as I go by and say thank you. Every lapper I pass, I say thank you if they get out of my way quickly.
You've never
Like,
thanked
literally.
me.
Yeah, you passed me and said fuck you.
Oh, then you must have not got out of my way quick enough. But hey, buddy, it could have been you. You got to be fast enough to get in the PM race.
Easy, brother. I've been there. I've been there and left. You just been in there hanging
Right.
out.
Yeah, I'm appreciative to the ones that are, because at the end of the day, it's funny. You know, you guys should make you guys should make a T-shirt. You want to stamp it, Tyler? Actually, you just sold your T-shirt business. You can't do this. If somebody else wants to do it, maybe I'll do it. But lappers pay your bills, bitch.
100%.
There's a T-shirt. Because at the end of the day,
Me.
there's a hell of a lot more lappers out there than there are fast guys, and a lot of people see what we do. A lot of people pay attention. Man, I got to spend a week in Utah last week with Josh and some of the Rocky Mountain guys and some very slow riders. And man, did we have a blast. We had an absolute ball. I had more fun that there were slow guys there so I could dick off. And it was like, this is what I ride dirt bikes for. I have not been that excited to go ride my dirt bike since I was 12 years old. And yeah, I mean, I got to wrap up by saying, like, I know the reason that I have such a badass job, and it ain't from other pros, and it ain't from the dictators of the sport. It's from the guys buying motorcycles.
Well, they may pay your bonuses, but as far as paying your bills, your prize winnings from winning the overall this past weekend was only equal to about 30 lappers out on that track. I did the math.
You're right. You're right.
But I get the sentiment. But
Let's just say that you guys know that I'm involved with another series that will be paying their riders to show up next year.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna leave it at that.
breaking all sorts of news. Tom's got one more, and then you got to
Yeah.
go.
Stu, we need
Pro
to
riders will get paid top 10.
we need to get you up here to Denver, go on a brown ride one day, and then come in here in studio and do a show.
Monday, Tuesday of next week sound good? Tuesday's
No.
show day, right?
No, I got a real job.
I don't. Let's go.
Fuck
I'll go
you.
ride.
Hey, Sunbelt Rental, is that where you work, Reynolds?
Yeah.
Tell them I need a deal. United, we were supposed to have enough shit this weekend, and like, listen, they showed up with a water truck. Thank you, United Rentals. I appreciate it. It was great. But for what we said we needed versus what showed up, like, they killed us.
They shit the bed. Imagine that.
See, look, we got a job.
They're good at that.
They shit the bed. So, anyways, we're working on this Sunbelt. Hey, Caterpillar, though, listen, I know I was one of those that when Cat went gay, it wasn't the way, but they've retracted all that shit, and they're back on track. They're straight again. And Caterpillar, man, that new skid steer they got, let me tell you what, I would drive that to and from work every day down the interstate if I could.
What size are you running? 260? Was it 264? Is that what you're running?
265.
65s?
It's a little one. It's a little
Oh,
one. It
yeah.
ain't even the big one.
Big
Sorry, it's a
Cheryl got one.
mid-size.
Yeah.
But
Huge.
I'm
That's
going
what
to
they
tell
call
you
it.
what. I was pushing dirt with a D5K in that thing, and that is a 75 horsepower machine. They don't have DEF under 75, so no DEF, no emissions, and the windows pop out of that thing. You can clean the insides of the windows. Like I'm gonna throw a bone out there. If Sunbelt ain't using Cat, y'all need to switch, because
Bobcat.
I wasn't a Cat guy, but I'm all about it now. Yeah, we've got a bobcat. I got some cat stuff. We've had Takeuchis. We got. I mean, you name it, and this yellow and this iron, we got it. But the new cat stuff is badass. We had a lot of it for that qualifier, and Cat hooked us up. Blanchard Cat, they were on top of it. But United Night might need to be replaced with Sunbelt if you know a guy, because it sounds like I know a guy.
Hey, let's talk. Let's figure it out.
Let's talk.
All right, there we go. All right, Stu, thanks for joining us. Thanks for being here. Thanks for taking some time out. Solid stuff. Got a couple of different breaking news. We got all sorts of stuff going on. So appreciate your time, and just know that whenever you got to get stuff off, the floor is always open to you.
Absolutely. I this weekend, again, I apologize to those that I offended. Actually, I don't, because I really don't care. Leave. If you don't like it, so be it. The 3 that I lost, I gained 30. That's just the way I look at things. And Hayden Deegan won that championship like a boss this weekend, and I like
If
that.
you don't like it, suck it, honestly.
If you don't like it, suck it. Hell yeah. All right. See you, boys.
See ya.
My wife's coming back. She's real mad this time. This is strike number 3.
Tell Caleb happy birthday. See you later.
Hey, y'all want to see my baby girl? Nobody's seen the baby girl here.
Well, we can't see you, so.
Well, y'all can.
You have to unplug your phone.
Look how pretty she is.
Oh, hold on.
She don't look like you.
Whose baby is that? That don't look like either one of you.
This
Jade.
is how rumors get
She's
started.
got the
Jade.
same hair.
Give me my baby back.
Jade.
All right, we'll see you guys.
All right. See y'all. Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
See you, Stu.
See ya.
All right,
Wow.
now we're done.
Hey, he backed away from that brown ride real quick. He don't want none with Big Tom. That brown.
He's scared of it.
I'm telling you.
A lot of stuff said there. So just so y'all know, to kind of set this up and how this happened. Yesterday, obviously, wasn't at the race. Felt bad about that. And then Stu wins. While I'm not at the race, I was like, oh, shit. But then text him, reach out to him like, hey, man, good job. You're one race away, 30 points down. And the first thing he says back is, you guys can't determine the best rider in the world based off of ISDE results because the ISDE selection process is bullshit and goes into this whole thing. So the ISDE thing is...
He's fired up about it.
Oh, dude, it's heavy on his mind. And like you said, the reason he reached out to, wanted to come on the show, and it was supposed to be a quick conversation, but obviously had a lot to say.
Yeah, he's always long-winded.
But this ISDE thing is a real thing. And like I said, you look at his success on the junior team, you look at the championship on the World Trophy team, and his individual success, and it's got to be tough to be in that situation.
You know, it's very similar to the exhausted.
Another battery down.
Oh no.
It's kind of like how Toth had to go on a club team 2 years ago he wanted to go. They didn't pick him. He went on a club team, got a top club member, had some killer times, and then they put him back in trophy because he hadn't been in GNCC for a while, so they put him in trophy after he had a killer ride in club.
Oh boy, what are we doing? Yeah, you're exactly right, but it's also very similar to the Motocross of Nations stuff that happens. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of politics in it, and there shouldn't be. It should be results driven, but.
I do think a lot of the moto guys don't want to go to Destinations either.
Yeah, but still, a lot of times there's a lot of politics involved in it.
Yeah.
And it's the same way on ISD, and it's unfortunate that, you think when you go to represent your country, you want to send your best team. What are you trying to say? Look at the camera?
I was going to say you could slide it over a little bit. Sorry. This camera shit the bed.
Ooh, wow.
Underfoot helped us out enough to get us a new camera, but not enough to get more batteries
Not
for
enough
that
to
camera.
get 2 cameras.
Yeah. So, anyway.
Hell, we're just begging at this point. What are you doing? But no, it is kind of disheartening to hear that it's it comes down to the person who picks a team runs a race team or manages a race team.
Yeah.
And if you look at the people that got picked, majority of them are from those race teams that he handles, and it kind of sucks to see that. It should be results driven, and it's not. It doesn't. I'm not saying that the guys on the team don't deserve to be on the team and that they're not good enough, but yeah, I don't know.
I mean, in the way the racing has been, like, there's plenty of people that are deserving. So same thing. We're not taking away from anyone that got selected, but I mean, at the same time, half the trophy team is Japanese bikes. So there is that. But yeah, there's just such a big selection pool.
I don't even know who's on the team.
But then you even look at it, and like Stu being a guy that he's openly talking about next year being his last year. So how many more opportunities are there to be on this ISDE team? And you look at Strang, who got snubbed from the Australia team after winning the World Trophy Championship, and then them excluding him. I keep putting my chair down. Excluding him a couple years in a row, and now this is back-to-back years for Strang being on that Australian team. But, yeah, I mean, you think about things like that. Like, Stu's still been heavy in National Enduro. He's still been up front in the GNCC series. And like I said, how many more opportunities are there? You would think that would weigh in to the fact that he's also in the prime of his career as far as riding is concerned as well.
Yeah.
What we were talking about earlier about having sending all the spare parts for all Austrian bikes.
Yeah.
And there's going to be Toth on a Cowie with just a freaking slew of shit I bet they send. Just in case.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's the lone Cowie, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Triple weld that chain guide.
Yeah.
Played it, brother.
That's an
Absolutely.
issue.
Shit, I'm not even all that great, but I've broke one of them off.
I broke one. I broke one in like the first hour of riding it.
Anyway, we got hot and heated in this whole thing. Forgot to mention Dimmer's Precision Grading, DPG.
Hey, we talked about his race, though.
Yeah,
We may have even recruited a XC2
Yeah.
or
XC1.
one. Fuck.
Yeah.
This picture's got me
Six-time
all
national enduro
Yeah.
champion.
Go and drinking afterwards, DPG.
Dimmer's Precision Grading. There's a race at the DPG compound this weekend that you can check out.
Is there a titty bar close?
Dimmer's Precision Grading.
Yeah, there's
.com. They are the Carolina's finest owner-operators of a grading service, excavation, land clearing, any type of grading needs, big or small. Hit up Dimmer's Precision Grading. Also, right now is the best time to invest in the stock market. Actually, second best time. Best time was yesterday. Next best time is right now. Our buddy Zach Tussle with Raymond James Financial can help you with all of your investment goals and opportunities. Let him know you listen to OTP. You get a free consultation. Let him know exactly how it is that he can help you out. And save money for the future. TussleInvestments.com. That is with one L in Tussle. 2 S's, 1 L. And Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Use our link that is in the description of this video and everything else. Shop same way you normally shop. We get a little bit of commission. We can buy a battery for this camera so we can use it the entire time. Yeah. Thank you for that. And as always, Yamaha. I tell you what, shows like this, it just revs the hell out of my heart. Thanks to the Blue Crew and being a part of the Blue Crew and their championships, their success, all of that. Happy to be a part of it. Happy to be a part of that Yamaha family, and happy to have their support and have a Yamaha to ride at any available time. Forgot about that as we got into this whole thing.
Leather and lace. Not going, but
Come on.
I'm not going.
There is a casino close by.
Yeah, we're going to Cleveland County, I reckon, to Demolition Derby.
And Stu wants to talk so much junk about me and casinos. It's his fault. Vegas to Reno last year, I had never really gambled before in my life. And then we sat there. Jade won so much money as soon as we got to a roulette table. So much money, dude. Stu gave her like $100. She put 100 on Red 19. Red 19 hit. So you know what she does? She says, I'm going to let it ride. I'm going to leave the whole stack there. And Stu grabs it. He's like, no, you're not. That's the dumbest idea ever. So she left half the stack there. It hit twice in a row. Red 19. Went from $100. I think she ended up walking away with like $4,500.
And you
Could have been like
you
80.
were hooked.
Yeah. And I was like, how did that just happen? So I bet Red 19, any casino I go to ever since. But then Michael McVoy, Baby Mac, who shout out, he came off the couch and raced and got top 20 in the quad race in the class. But anyway,
Did you run those
taught me
financial
blackjack.
decisions by your financial advisor?
yeah, he said, bet the house.
Dude, he told me to use Marketplace while I'm jobless. He said, you seem like you're doing a little bit of turnover here. Do Marketplace. That's how you need to invest your money.
Yeah.
Sold a Fox body, made a little bit of money on it.
Interesting.
But
Did you sell that thing?
Yeah.
Damn it. I want to drive it.
It's still at the house, but I sold it.
Can I drive it?
No.
all right.
It's got a cam in it. I think.
Yeah, it's got a cam.
Anything else we got?
Yeah, let's talk about Craig's race Sunday.
Okay, Tom, let's talk about my race after the first lap.
I seen a video. Well, I just want to talk about this video I seen before I got over here. You were rolling down the hill in the first lap
Is that back-to-back weekends in a row
and throwing your goggles.
of you getting caught
So-
on video crashing?
Yes. So, dude, okay, so what happened was get a second place start in AA. First turn, there's a dude on a Raju, and he cuts in real hard, and we hit, I wreck. He takes off.
When you went in the woods?
Yeah. So I'm second going into the woods. Like, so proud of myself because my dad came to a race. He's over there yelling at me and throwing shit at me. Wreck in the first turn, so I'm 16th. I go 100 yards. I wreck again. I go
Before the bridge?
before the bridge.
Jesus, Craig.
And then I go half a lap, catch. I'm probably in 8th. I pass a bunch of guys. I feel super good about myself. I'm like, man, I'm going good. Eat a bag of dicks.
Where'd you do that at?
About the 4, right before you go down the first kind of hard hill.
The one, the one that
3.5
had all
mile mark
The
there.
roots all over it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before that, coming down the hill.
Oh, yeah.
Swipe the front. I'm right behind Brandon Dimmer, and there's a tree that goes down, so the trail like kind of cruises and sweeps to the left. Well, there's a tree down about like chest high, and there's like 3 arrows to the right. You go up around it. We do not go up around it. We hit the tree. We're stuck there. All of the open A guys catch us and pass us. I take off right behind Levi Walker. He wrecks. I pass him. And then I wreck again. Levi Walker gets around me.
Champ.
Is he?
I think so.
I don't know.
Oh, never mind. Levi Elliott. Sorry.
Yeah.
And then
Anyway,
I
sorry.
wreck on the hill. There's a video of it. Levi gets around me, and then he hits the hill, gets stuck, and I try to go to the right, and I just don't do anything, and then I just flip my bike down the hill, get to the bottom of the hill,
Slung your goggles.
slung my goggles at Nate, and then I'm down there, and my bike takes like at least a minute to start. So my first lap was 26 minutes. The rest of them were 22s. So I go from 16th again and end up getting 7th. Like 40 seconds from a little bit of money, a $20 bill. So, like, shoulda, coulda, woulda. If I wouldn't have been such a jackass first lap, I'd have done, maybe a top 3 in AA. Would have been super proud of myself. But that's how my day went. Tom, thanks for letting everybody know that I suck ass 2 weekends in a
I
row.
didn't say that.
You
just
brought
said-
it up
I
on
just
purpose.
said
You didn't bring it up because you thought I looked good. You brought it up because my first lap I was in 70th overall.
You weren't very happy to see me throwing my hands on. Like,
Yeah,
what
you
are
said,
do-
what's wrong? And I'm like, ugh. I also apologize for saying the F word so many times today. I get carried away. I talk like I do in the street, and I apologize.
I
Happens
tell
to
you,
the best
I
of
tell
us.
you what. So I said earlier I swept road because I haven't rode since February. But that was a badass track.
Dude, it's always good.
It was at
There's-
McManus's, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, dude.
And that was probably the most technical North Carolina that I've done or rode since either Mountain Challenge when they used to go there or Davis Mountain, which was across the street from Flat Rock.
Yeah.
That track was sick.
I will
would've
talk a little bit of
hated
shit.
Hated to race it, but it was sick.
I'll talk some shit, though. Like, those guys, Chris puts out, like, so he has his parents' place, and then he has the landowner beside them, where they do the start, they do the grass track section. He puts $7,000 of his own money, like, every round into this place. He makes zero money. Like, they pay his parents, they pay the other landowner. He makes zero money. He has his crew, 'cause he has a hardscape company out of Morganton, North Carolina, GC Landscaping.
And I tell you what, some of the officials and guys sweep riding, they were like, "This is the best place to break down because we have the most people on four-wheelers pulling people out of the woods." Like,
Yeah,
this is
there's
great.
4 brothers. All of them are out there just tuned in, love it, out there helping guys out, doing whatever. And there are some hills in Morganton. It's just like a little Still Creek. And there are some gnarly hills on this track. Well, there's some that, like the guys in the 3 p.m., they can't make, or they get online and complain about how hard the hills are. And then Chris's little brother, Daniel, who's 16, who has never rode a dirt bike really in his life, but he has a DS80, he rides around the field. He'll go out there in his Hey Dudes and crack any hill out there and make it. And then, like John had said, we got to cut this hill out, we got to do this, got to do that. And then you have a shirtless 16-year-old boy who doesn't even ride dirt bikes and Hey Dudes cracking hills on DS80 that the exhaust is pulled out of the jug. And it's like, it is a great track. And I think that having a little bit of more technical track and something a little more difficult that makes you work for it says a lot.
Yeah.
Like for me, I lost a lot of time because it was my fault. I did all my wrecking. I caught back up to how I did, and I ended up riding pretty good the rest of the day. But that's what makes woods racing not moto. What makes it not riding on the street. There's difficult shit. You have to overcome it. You got to hit the wrong line. So the next time you come around, okay, I got to go wide, cut in, and I'm going to miss all the bullshit. So I think it says a lot about the track they have, and I think it's cool that they still have some woods races that aren't for bitches.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a tough track. Like, just like I said, just even sweep riding it. But
because it was slick first lap. Obviously, I'm just tucking the front.
It was slick, but like the terrain was challenging.
Yeah,
but it was sick. It was badass.
We'll go up there one day. We on a Saturday or something. We'll go up there because the tracks other than the landowner, which is just the start and some field sections, you can ride everything. We can go up there one day and you can ride it. You'll like it.
That one hill, right after where I threw my hands up at you.
You jump halfway. Yeah, it's gnarly.
You go up and you make that left up all the rocks. When I did final sweep, I got stuck there.
Yeah.
And
every time I hit it, there's 5 guys there.
Oh, I believe it.
Golly.
It was gnarly. Like I was like, oh my God, I'm glad I wasn't racing.
It's good to see.
It was sick.
They put a lot of effort into it.
It was sweet.
Sweet. Sounds like a good
and
job.
There was more guys pulling off that track Sunday than I've seen in a long time. And I tell you what, there was more guys that I came up on that were like sitting on the side of the track with their bike laid up. And one I'd be like, man, you good? Yeah, I'm good. I'd keep going. Some guy, oh, I'm hurt. I sit there and talk to him. Can you ride out? Yeah, I can ride out. Okay.
Well, then you ain't hurt. Go.
They get on their bike and they'd ride down the trail. And I'm like, thought you were hurt.
Yep. Happens at Mid-East every weekend. Someone goes down, call the medic, call the medic. Medic gets there. Where'd they go? I don't know. They took back off.
Yeah. But, and I was talking to a couple guys and they were like, yeah, this happens when the track's tough because they want the easy way out. But
yeah,
it was sick. I'm glad I went. It's the first time I've been up there, but
yeah,
I messaged Chris. Actually, we were pulling in and met Chris before I paid to get in. I said, hey man, I'm sweep riding. I said, do I still need to pay the gate fee? And he was like, yeah. And I was like,
because that's what pays his parents. That's what pays the landowner.
I was like, I'm thinking to myself, oh shit, like this is his race. And I looked at him. I said, do you get that money? He said, yeah. And I was like, oh shit, never mind. And then, honestly, like, after the race, I was like, well, shit, that was well worth $10 or $15 to get in.
Yeah, because you got to ride all day.
Hell yeah. So,
cool.
I actually messaged him. I was like, dude, badass track.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went there to take photos last year. Got stopped at the gate.
Wow.
You got to support the track, bud.
Yeah, long story. It was cool, though. Dustin won the championship.
Shout out.
With that being said, 2.5 hours. My mom's here from Florida. She keeps texting me dogs are going nuts.
Still?
I got to pee so bad, dude.
I think we got to go figure it out. But anyway, thank you guys for being here.
Yeah, sorry I was late.
No worries. Yeah, good conversation. Thank you, everybody, for listening to OTP. We will see you next Tuesday. Thanks again, boys. We'll see you next week.
See you.